What's up, guys? It's Captain Cook. Welcome back to Spicy Memories, the podcast where we talk about food and life and stuff. I always have wonderful guests on, but tonight I am joined by an extra special guest. I am joined by Hope Johnson from Hope Eats NYC on Instagram. Hope is a private chef and a caterer through the Institute of Culinary Education. She is the piano and keyboard player for Queens County Roots, a fucking great band. Very avid athlete, including the head coach of a squash team, which is kind of dope. And even with all that going on, last but not least, you are also the board director of also known as Inc., which is an organization setting out to empower the voices and lives of adult international adoptees and basically change how we see race. And, you know, you kind of bring to light the true loss that goes along with like the disconnection of like home country and somebody's like family and like culture. And so it actually seems like a really great organization. I was looking it up today, so I don't know everything about it, but I did that for a reason. I want you to expand my what's that my brain. There you go. So Hope, seriously, welcome to Spicy Memories. Thank you so much for sitting down, and thank you for being hopefully successfully the first video podcast guest. And if that doesn't happen, I'll just cut this right out. So is that Oh God! Did I miss anything? You want to expand on anything? But welcome.
Oh, you got it.
I got everything right. That's
it. Go well.
That's good. That's good. I'm gonna end up writing your biography in a couple of years. So that's good. Anyway, all right. So look, there's so much that I want to ask you, and I have to narrow down. First of all, you live in New York, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in Park Slope.
I was gonna say, yeah. So you're from like Brooklyn. You're from like okay.
Yep.
That changes a lot of things because I was born in Manhattan and like we're both New Yorkers, so like I can ask you like New York questions now. Yeah, I may live up in the fucking boonies now in northern Westchester, but I was born in Mount Sinai in Manhattan, so yeah. And so that changes. Like there's gonna be like bagels like sprinkled in and like some pizza questions and stuff now. It's gonna be crazy. And I'm just so happy that people can finally see how insane I am to the Zoom guests, because people hear my voice, but they don't know what it's like for you people. I look like I'm going through something, you know, half the time, you know what I mean? So this is
Are we all?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, everybody is, but like, this is going to be good for the video guests, hopefully. And again, if that doesn't happen, I'll just cut this out. But welcome, seriously. Thank you for sitting down on this wonderful, what the fuck is this, Thursday night, right?
Yeah.
Oh God. So, there's so much to start with. All right, let's just start with like food. Let's start off with the easy little knock one out of the park. What do you say?
Yeah.
So, aside from you graduating from the Institute of Culinary Education, okay, and doing catering and being a private chef through them now, right?
Mm-hmm.
When did you actually start like not just doing home cooking? Like, I mean, like I don't know if there's like an exact time, but like, do you remember like a meal or like a time frame and age where you were like cooking something and you were like, I need to do this like more seriously, like I need to not just make, you know, bacon and eggs. So
It's funny because I went to college for mainly squash, and then I realized college was not for me. That's a long story. 2 years. So I went to college in Pennsylvania at Franklin Marshall for the squash team. Came back to the city because not for me.
Wait, hold on. You went to Franklin and Marshall in Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
I've been there. That's crazy.
Really?
My cousin and like two of my uncles went there. They're all like legacies and shit. Yeah.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, I went and visited him there, and then he showed me all the frats, and I was like, yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah, no, it was awful. It was awful. Thank you. I'm so glad we're on the same board with that one.
No, look, as much as I love swimming in a sea of boat shoes and short shorts, I was like, this is a lot of leg hair for me. You know what I mean? Like this is not for me. So anyway, sorry, continue.
No, you're good. No, it's good. Yeah, in high school when I was applying to colleges, I was like, I'll do something opposite. I like chose that mistake. And so I came back to the city. I was super lost, obviously, because a lot of my friends weren't from high school weren't back here. So I had to like make new friends. And I was applying to jobs, and the first one I got was at a meal kit company. It was called Mise en Place.
Nice.
Like people know what that people know what that means, you know, everything in its place, you know, stuff like that. So I did an internship there for a decent amount of time, learned a lot. It was basically all social media marketing. I learned how to Instagram. That's how I blew up my own Instagram. There was recipe testing, like ingredient prep, menu planning, actually delivering the meals. It was kind of like Blue Apron. And then eventually they ended up not paying me, obviously, because I was like a young person in the city doing an internship.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot. And then, so once it became enough, I had like enough, I decided to start my own company instead for marketing, just marketing, honestly.
Okay.
But they also taught me about influencer events and stuff like that.
Right.
And I was like, oh, there's like a nice network.
And that
I can
was
like,
that's Hope Social, right? Is that what that is?
yeah, I
Okay.
started that, the marketing, and I had clients in the city for like restaurants, cafes, and stuff like that. And then I was like, you know what, screw this. I love cooking. I love eating. My dad is a really good chef. He was in finance and stuff like that, but
Nice.
that's his passion.
It's food connects like older generations with you so much that you don't even I mean, because I learned to cook from like my parents, like, and especially my dad.
Mhm.
I mean, but my mom and my dad, but in different ways. Like my mom was determined to like make like brownies out of like diet soda and black beans, like Weight Watcher style. Yeah. Which was,
Whoa.
and no, but also she did some cool
I've
stuff. She
never
made,
heard of that.
yeah, it was a whole thing. But my dad's the one that taught me how to use like a chef knife when I was like 9. And when I was like 9 or 10, he started like actually putting me in front of the burners and being like, you need to learn how to do this so you can function as like a human, and then the older I
Nice.
got, yeah, the older I got, the more I started cooking. But I feel like, I don't know. I mean, well, I don't know how old you are now, but like how long have you been like cooking at this like level, would you say?
3 or 4 years.
That's a good amount of time.
Yeah.
That's a nice area to be in because you're solid. Like you could bang out. Like what's the biggest party that you've ever like catered?
It was a squash tournament, actually. It was like 120 players, and I was also playing in the squash tournament.
Oh my God.
So it was just like banging out all the food, playing my matches, tending to the food.
Oh my God.
I died the next day, and then
I can't even imagine the catering jobs alone that I have done. I mean, I've been a part of a team of like 3 chefs and we did like 250 people at this like museum gig, but we did it
wow.
outside in October and we were under like one of those bullshit tents. Like we didn't even have like an oven outside. It was like a enclosed like speed rack and it had those like blue fucking flame like catering things. He left
Yeah.
like 50 of them on the bottom to heat up the whole thing.
Oh, the sternos.
Yeah, the startups.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the sternos things. Yeah.
I was like, this is insane that we have to do this. He's like, yeah, I know, but let's just. But like, I think by myself with a few people under me helping me, like 125 people, and that alone is enough to knock you the fuck out. And
Yeah.
I mean, you eat amazing. By the way, all the food that you post on your Instagram looks incredible. Like the food that you post at places and you always tag them, the food that you cook, like your catering jobs you put, like all that shit looks like incredible. And
Thanks.
it's just, it takes so much out of you. So doing that and also playing in a squash tournament, it's like I don't know. That's a level of agility that I'll never fucking have anymore. Um, Jesus Christ. Oh God. So I don't know. All right. Do you remember there being like a dish that you were like, oof, like something that really got you into like I want to get into like the nitty gritty of like being like a real cook, like a chef. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember something that you ate where you were like, fuck, like
Before culinary school, or
yeah, of course.
honestly, I used to cook a lot with my dad, even when I was younger. And I was like one of those stories where it's like you could see over the stovetop and you were like cooking with your dad when you were younger. He
Right.
just made this like rotisserie chicken with like like these herbs and stuff. And my mind when I was in like lower school, I was like, damn, this is good.
You're like, holy shit.
Delicious.
There is something magical about just like a slow roasted chicken, with the cavity shoved with like some lemons and garlic and maybe some sage and thyme and stuff, and like, nothing too crazy. Like even if you don't want to do like an herb butter, you can do like a nice olive oil kind of rub, go under the skin. It's just there's something like so simple and so good about it that
Yeah.
I mean that's why I started making like rotisserie rub along with my hot sauce because I would make this jar of rotisserie rub that my wife had requested literally every weekend, and I would make an 8-hour rotisserie chicken in a slow
Yeah.
cooker, and then I would take it out carefully and broil it and get it like crispy. And I had this like amazing combination in a jar, and she's like, "You should just like sell this," and because we were making rotisserie chickens like every fucking week, and it's just there's something
Wow.
just like so simple about it that I love. But
Yeah.
I mean, Pete will come after me for that, but that's okay. We're like sweet talking the intrinsic value of like a dead bird. So that'll be fun. This episode brought to you by PETA. So, all right, so let's transition quickly, and I'm gonna bounce all around. So don't
Yeah,
try and follow. I like to keep people on the move.
I'm here for it.
No. So music. You are, from what I can tell, a very talented piano player. Is that like your main only instrument, or do you also play 9 other things as well?
I taught myself guitar in 8th grade because I was obsessed with the Jonas Brothers.
Oh shit. Okay. And
Unfortunately.
and out of the 3, who's your favorite?
I liked Nick Jonas.
Yeah, okay. That's fine.
Not anymore.
No. Now it's like now it's like Joe, kind of, you know what I mean? Like Joe's a little more kind of up my speedway, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
maybe because he's married to Sophie Turner and she's awesome.
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe not though. I don't know. I don't know. But do you still play, or are you just kind of like
Guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, for fun. For fun.
Okay, for fun.
For sure.
But yeah, you're really good at piano. Anything else you
I actually had a 5 seconds of fame thing in high school too.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
if I told you about or about that, but I had a friend, her name was Maggie, and she and I had a YouTube channel, and we had been playing music from 8th grade to 12th grade,
Yeah.
and we got famous senior year of high school
What?
doing a rendition of Gangnam Style, and we were #1 on BuzzFeed and like all these countries and stuff like that, and we were on Channel 12 News. It was literally filmed like right over there.
Shut the fuck up. Are you serious?
Yeah,
This is blowing my mind. Holy shit.
it would be very embarrassing.
I don't care. I need to see this video. Holy shit.
Did not tell
Still...
you that one. So I
Oh my god.
was harmonizing. I got a lot of like a good ear for singing by
Right.
harmonizing her because she still has an amazing voice. She's in Boston right now, actually, still doing music. But yeah, so singing, guitar, kind of, piano.
Yeah, guitar is a fun one. Guitar's kind of transitioned into my main instrument now. I started with piano, and then in 4th grade I picked up a saxophone, and sax became my main instrument for a while. That's why I started playing in ska bands, and then and then I got older, and I was just like, I think I want to be in the front, and so I started singing. So that was interesting. But I play guitar, bass, piano, sax.
Okay.
I can play the shit out of a recorder.
With your own band.
I could play Iron Man on the recorder real well. You know what I mean? There's nothing better than hearing a Black Sabbath song played on a recorder. Let me tell you, that's you don't know badass until you play Iron Man on a fucking recorder. So now I want to ask you this, because like music is always a big part in like the kitchen, whether it's like me here at home, or I've noticed like now that I'm in professional kitchens, like, you know, like the chef I work with every Sunday, she's got this fucking speaker and music is just blasting all day with us, and we're fucking psychos in there. And that's in a lot of kitchens, that's how it is. And so I don't know, what's your usual like cooking? It's probably different when you're like you have work to do, as opposed to like when you're home just like fucking around. But like, what's your preferred genre of music, or any kind of music when you're cooking?
When I'm cooking, I watch the cooking channel while I cook.
That's kind of cool, actually.
I watch the cooking channel on the Food Network almost 24/7. It's really bad, but I learned a lot, and have a notes app for like all the TV tips that I've just listened to. I'm like, oh, that's nice, a nice technique, and new technique and stuff like that, and like learning about new ingredients. There's a lot of cooking is just knowing how an ingredient behaves when you put it under certain conditions, and once you know how it behaves and under the same like different conditions, you can perfect a dish kind of like that.
Nice. Yeah, it's funny actually. My last episode with Cast Iron Kyle, who's also pretty big on Instagram. He's awesome. We and I had a very long discussion about fish sauce, being an ingredient that is kind of like under different conditions, it does different things. Like you've used fish sauce, I assume?
Yeah, I actually use it very often, to be honest.
Because it doesn't taste how it smells, and it doesn't taste the way it tastes when it's done in the dish, the way that you tried it out of the bottle. Because there's just like there's certain things that are just so like flat and pungent, like smoked paprika, right? You can you can bang a rail of smoked paprika off the fucking counter if you want, and then you can put it in a dish and it'll smell exactly the same. Like you can eat a dish and be like, oh, there's paprika in here, right? And like it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just, there's things that are very present. Fish sauce is one of those things where it adds a huge difference in dishes if you cook it
umami.
and
Yeah,
it adds umami, and it's got like this beautiful like just richness that it adds to some dishes. And like a lot of people don't know that because they hear fish sauce and they smell it and they're like, ugh, and they like don't want to like
sound good. It doesn't smell good raw.
yeah.
So.
But also I think a lot of that has to do with predisposed notions of ingredients and partial racism, so that we can so we'll get into that as well. Not that I'm claiming that I'm not, you know, I am a white man, but I have noticed.
You probably know more about fish sauce than I do, to be honest.
Probably not. I know exactly how I've used it. I'm not like, if somebody's like, so tell me what it's made of, I'll be like, like I just kind of like, I'll freeze up. But no, I think what's happened with me recently is the more serious I became about cooking, the more serious I became about the origins of everything, and the more research I did, and the more I realized that like all these different ingredients, all these different dishes and stuff, there was a lot of these like predisposed notions that people have. That's not what predisposed notions say, whatever. That people have about these ingredients because of like the culture they came from, or like they don't know the real origin story. Like I think I've mentioned this on like 3 episodes in a row, but I don't care. Tacos al pastor, right? It's a dish that you find in all over the city in like California, but it originated from Mexico, but it actually originated from like Lebanon because the Lebanese immigrants went to Mexico and brought it. So it's like, I became very interested in like why people thought certain things, you know, like why, you know, people were so against like MSG for no fucking reason, right? Or why, you know,
I only learned about the MSG thing a few years ago too.
yeah, it's like everyone, you know, and they say these like horrible things that go along with it, but I'm like, MSG is in fucking Doritos, so if you eat Doritos, like shut the fuck up, like seriously, like it's literally just like it's a flavoring salt that makes things taste better. Like I don't know how else to explain, you know, it just makes things taste better. And I think a lot of that has to do with people getting just a completely skewered view of things coming from whatever culture they were coming from. And, you know, you listen to what your fucking parents say and you go by that. And so a lot of people's minds are very closed. And so what I've tried to set out to do in the past couple of years is like broaden that a little bit and be like, okay, well, I can like buy something like fish sauce, right? Or I can buy something like, you know, tamari, right? Or I can like do it, and but I need to understand like how it's used, like why it was used, like where was it available, and those, you know, like.
And that's the best part of being a chef. Like you have so much to learn all the time, and it's just like amazing. The world is like never ending, and I'm just like, wow. When I was younger, I'm like, if you're a musician, you know everything. If you're a chef, you can cook everything. I was like, nope, that's not how.
It's kind of the beauty of it though, if you think about it. Like you can kind of do this happily for the rest of your life, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like because I work a 9-to-5 job that is not in a kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I work in the Bronx actually. I'm at a school for the blind.
Yeah.
I work at a school for the blind in the Bronx. So.
Wow.
Yeah, that's I don't work with the kids. You don't have to sound sympathetic. It's fine. I work in the office. I'm not. Everyone's like, oh, that's so. I'm like, nah, I don't care. It's fine. But no.
But you got a 9-to-5.
For now, yeah. I'm hoping to actually transition out of that this year, so we'll see. But I don't know. But basically, like, I every moment I'm not cooking or in a kitchen, I'm thinking about food. And the more I've thought about food, I'm realizing that it's like, it's this world that you can just kind of dive into and you can kind of be present in it no matter what you're doing. You could totally be not cooking. You could be, you know, you could be, you know, fucking threading your eyebrows and you could just be thinking about food. Like, it's just like, it's always like, you know,
meditation or something like that. Like, I totally feel you on that. Like, literally, I'm also into like the universe stuff, like have you seen that? Into the Universe with Stephen Hawking?
Yes.
And he talked about, and he's like, he's like, you know, he's incapacitated. He's smart as hell, and like his mind, he's free, and he can. Yeah. It's gorgeous.
It's almost like you open up another like part of your brain that you didn't think that like you had, you know, and with music too. I mean, music is kind of like that for me too, because you can always hear new music. You can always find new stuff to play. You can always learn a new instrument. Like, there's never going to be a time when you're just like, I've done everything I can do. Like, you know, it's safe to say somebody could easily say that, you know, somebody like Yo-Yo Ma, right? Probably is good with the cello. He's probably just like, yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
But if you've ever seen him interviewed or talked, first of all, he's like the sweetest human being that there's like ever existed. If you've ever seen,
huh? You've talked to Yo-Yo Ma?
Me personally, no. I did follow. I am a very big fan of his though, and I followed him for a while. There were like people waiting in line to get their vaccines at like the Javits Center, and he just like showed up and started playing cello for everybody. Like this past year, yeah, look it up. It's crazy.
Really?
Like, yeah, and he did a Tiny Desk concert, and he's walking through each song and like what it meant to him as a kid, and like he has got this like enthusiasm that has not lost its spark at all. Like, do you remember BB King before he died?
No.
BB King would come out and play guitar. He was sitting in a chair because he was so old and big by the time he died. He literally would just sit down and play guitar. He was just like gone. He was playing guitar, but you could tell that his eyes and mine were just like somewhere else. He just didn't give a fuck, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see somebody on the opposite side of that, like Yo-Yo Ma, who's got this like spark and enthusiasm at age 62, after playing cello since he was like 4, like, you know, that's insane to be doing it for like almost 6 decades and still have that much enthusiasm. And I feel like
That's awesome.
I feel like food can kind of go along with that. So what I'm curious about is, do you find that the blend of you spending so much of your time in like food and music, it kind of like pairs together, kind of like a nice wine with like a meal, you know what I mean? Like music, I wanted you to tell me what you feel about this, but I feel like when I cook certain things, I get a similar feeling when you've successfully run through a song or when you've just learned something you were trying to learn, right? Like for you, especially your fucking pinky wasn't doing the thing that you want to do in that last note and you fucking got it on the B flat, you know, like
Yeah.
something that just like clicks, it evokes a certain kind of like emotion for me. So I don't know. I'm curious if there's any kind of parallels between those two for you.
No, totally. Honestly, we had a band dinner like a while ago and we were talking about how food and music kind of were similar and we are like, oh, creating a dish is kind of like creating a song. It's like you got to put all the components together and make them blend harmoniously. And so it's like we're kind of playing a game where it's like, oh, what we were trying to parallel, like, oh, like adding salt is kind of like symbols, or like adding the base is kind of like adding the fat.
Right.
Everything has to blend harmoniously, and it's a different like sense for human senses. So it's like when you eat something, it's like, oh, this all balances out really well, which is actually the beauty of becoming a good chef, which is watching chops and stuff. That's a whole puzzle in like 20 minutes for like the appetizer round, whatever. It's like you literally just have to like put it all together, make it blend beautifully. And then working in a band, same thing. Things have to be leveled. It's not like you have to take out the ego and like the immaturity, which is like a lot of musicians in the city.
Yeah, that's a lot. I have news for you. That's a lot of musicians in the world. It's like any musician, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to work with the ones who actually like
can
be a person and take that all away. But yeah, I definitely find a lot of similarities between the two.
I feel like there's a certain creativity that goes into both of them. Like you said, there's a balance, you know, like with cooking, I would say, and people can disagree with me, you can tell me because you have bigger credentials than I do. You're a graduate from ICE. So I usually tell people that cooking is like 87% controlling your heat. Always, right?
Energy.
Yeah. You're right. Like controlling the heat and controlling like like everything, just making sure everything is going at the pace that you want, which is kind of like a tempo, like you said, of a song, you know, but like, that's always what it's been like for me. And like, I feel like once I kind of learned that, like when you go into a professional kitchen or like even when I do like meal prep on Sundays and stuff, you see people flipping pans and tilting them in flames and stuff. But the reason they're doing that is because all the burners are on fucking max and you've got to like pump something out really quickly. So you move it around really quickly because you have to. If you're at home and you got the flame on medium heat, you don't have to be fucking stirring like, you know, crazy inside the pot. And a lot of people make that mistake. So I think there are similarities between the two because it's like you immerse yourself into this like process, right? Where you can't like fuck up. You can't stop in the middle, right? You can't just like stop playing, basically, right? Like you can't just like walk off stage. You can't walk off stage. I mean, you can walk off stage in the middle of a song. Just like you could walk away from a pan that's hot. You shouldn't do it, but you can. Like, I totally recommend not doing that, but you absolutely can. Or you could do what I did the other day, which is I was making pretzels, and because I love making pretzels and bagels, and I put the pretzel dough in the stand mixer bowl to rise, and I draped a black fucking rag over it, and I put it inside the oven because it's dark. And like an hour and a half later, I was like, oh yeah, I got to roast potatoes, and I just cranked the oven on. And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, and I just I opened the door and I was like, oh no. And like, so like that would probably be the equivalent of like, you know, starting to play a song and then realizing that your amp is just not plugged in, right? That's like
Yeah.
that's pretty much like, you know. So
A lot of cooking is like here and it's making sure the timing is right.
right.
Yeah.
Making sure
I kind of find it kind of fun, to be honest, because I love puzzles and I love being active, like the sports stuff. So it kind of all works really well.
Do you work well when you're frazzled, when you're like a little under the gun? I mean, if you're an athlete, I'm assuming,
yeah, but
you know, I'm assuming you do well under pressure if you're that avid of an athlete.
for cooking,
Okay.
I'm good for that because a lot of catering gigs, you perfect stuff and you taste it and you're like, okay, this is perfect.
Right.
We're good to go. For
Right.
performing for music, even my band knows this. Like, honestly, I had never performed live until I was with this band, Queens County.
Really?
Yeah, so it's funny that we're combining the music and the food because so I went to IC, the Institute of Culinary Education, like in 2018, and I actually had not played music during college or even when I came back and I was in that internship. And one of the guys in my class, his name is Jesse. He is an amazing singer. He actually, unfortunately, moved back to Toronto because of his visa and green card stuff. But he was the singer originally in this band. And he was like, oh, Hope, I know you play piano and stuff like that. You want to sit in on like a gig because we need a keyboard person. I'm like, yeah, I'll sit in. I hadn't played since like before college.
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is like a 4 chords, like some chords, you know, I'm gonna try. So I was very nervous the first gig, but yeah, no, I'm honestly getting better now at performing in front of people, and it's just funny how like the food and the music just like
kind of blend together.
Just naturally. I'm like the universe.
Because I feel like musicians and cooks are, how do I put this? Like in the multi-dimensional universe, they're probably on the same plane. You know what I mean? Like they're in that same realm of like borderline misfits, trying to find balance through creativity, like you know, trying to like throw yourself into a process, trying to come up with all right, here we go. This is depressing and accurate. Trying to come up with an end result that you feel better about than you do about yourself. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's like, it's painful to hear that. That's like, wow, that's fucking.
No, not you said
like,
yeah, that's so true.
That's fucking dark. That is really dark, but it's 100% true because, like, I'll make like the first time I successfully made coq au vin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'm never gonna be this good. Like, just as a person, like, I'm never gonna be as good as I just made, you know, this coq au vin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that feeling is the same thing as like when I would play with my band, and we would play a great fucking show. I would come off and be like, I'm not gonna feel that good until I do that again. You know what I mean? Like, so I feel like it's very similar in these two worlds. And I really, really love the kind of juxtaposition of those two. And before the pandemic, actually, my friend Kate lives in Brooklyn. And she is a chef. She went to culinary school, and she's
Where's she at?
In Brooklyn. Last time, I think she lived in Williamsburg last time I checked, but I know she moved. But she's a musician. The way I met her was we used to jam together. She's a brilliant musician. She's like classically trained guitarist, but she shreds. Like, her band is called Monte, Monte. Really, really good. They play in Brooklyn all the time. So she's the lead singer and lead guitarist. And she and I were going to work on this project in March of 2020 that we were going to make a video. We were going to jam and create a song. And then we had to make a dish inspired by the music that we made, like make the music and then say, like, what did this make us feel? What do we want to cook? Right.
I love that.
Yeah. And that we were planning to hang out March 18th of 2020. And then that happened. So that never came to light, but she and I still talk about it though. And so there is a connection here that I've been trying to kind of dip my little, metaphorical claws into. And I don't know, somebody like you would be a good person to talk to about this kind of stuff because like you live in like this world, you know? I mean, like when you're not playing music, I'm assuming most of your time is spent, that's another thing we're going to talk about. You do like 9,000 fucking things. So I need to find out how you balance your life. This is amazing. Like, outside of the cooking, outside of the music, outside of being the head coach for the squash team, right? Also known as, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're a director on the board.
Yeah,
And
one of the directors.
you're the
Yeah.
director. And I don't know. I'm curious. So how about this? I gave a stupid little mini intro in the beginning. Why don't you tell me, just like, give me the mission statement, whatever. You expand my mind on what it is and what it's about and why you dedicate that much time to it.
Totally. Yeah. So when I was only 7 months when I was adopted, and I actually have a younger sister who's also adopted. She's like 1.5, 2 years younger than I am. And my parents immersed her and I into all of these. We're both adopted from China, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Chinese cultural events and classes like dancing, writing, all this stuff, and to the point where we kind of got tired of it, and I'm like so numb to it. And then we went to all these camps and stuff like that. But we are part of this organization, also known as, and it stands also known as, obviously it's like AKA, but for us it's like, my name is Hope, also known as Chen Xiaomei. Like it's also known as your original name, I don't know what people call it, but yeah, my Chinese name. So I've been part of that since I was like 7 years old. They have a teen and mentorship program, actually.
Really?
So I do some cooking classes for them now.
Oh,
honestly.
shit, really?
Over Zoom because of this stuff. But yeah, I do that. But no, it's a great organization. I was actually roped in from an old mentor of mine when I was in the teen program and the youth program. And it's great, honestly. It's a great community. We have events every month. Yeah, people bond. It's a really great community.
So I am curious. I don't know. I mean, so because I have a relative who's adopted from Guatemala, right? And she.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she's talked about it like a little bit, but I'm so curious about that because like there's got to be like part of what I was reading too about AKA was like there's this like disconnect that's there that isn't like it can kind of exponentially kind of grow, I think, maybe as you get older, especially, and you become like more aware. And, maybe some people want to find out, like, if they are from, China, what region, like, was I from Hunan? Like, where.
Did you say Hunan or you just.
What?
You just said Hunan, right? Just randomly? I am from Hunan.
Are you really? Oh, shit. Okay. No, I just picked it just because I was looking up. I was looking up actually. But I was also looking up like Hunan, like cuisine, like real.
For sure.
That's another thing. It's like
that was a good coincidence.
Right. That was a very good coincidence. But like I was always so curious about that because like, it's probably, and you can tell me if I'm totally off base here, and I'm actually curious. Yeah. But is it kind of like this like not double-edged sword? That's the wrong word. But like, is it kind of like this back and forth a little bit where it's like, you came here so young, right? And you are American, like, and you were, you're from Brooklyn, like fuck, like you're literally a New Yorker, like, you're a New Yorker, but at the same time, like you have this like inside you've got this like connection that you kind of want to like explore, and like it doesn't necessarily like always represent all of who you are, but it's like this huge part of you that you wanted to kind of like emphasize. And I don't know, like, is there that kind of like push and pull a little bit that you've kind of, I don't know. Or yeah. And if that's a little too heavy, you could also.
No, it's not heavy at all. I'm just figuring out how to answer it. No, it's funny because so we went to a stupid ass like private white school in like Brooklyn Heights. So we were but like as a bad thing because it was a very like white supremacy, like dominant and stuff like that. And I've talked to like all the.
Fun.
Yeah, great. Yeah, and I've talked. So we're a little bit whitewashed, and then. When I was starting to get into serious relationships, I started thinking about like in depth, like my personality, like other people's personalities. And I was already into psychology and people's, how they behave and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's literally only in the past 3 or 4 years, and I'm about to be 27 this year.
Oh, okay.
But it's like clicked in my head where it's like, oh, this is why I'm like this, and like all that other fun stuff. And it kind of just doesn't end. So it's like a journey and like stuff like that. But I've definitely found a lot of parallels and just connections with food too. It's just like when I was I knew also when I was into food since I was younger, when I was just like floating around being a child, I was like, all the stuff that stood out to me was food. It was just like cooking. Like I took Chinese language and stuff like that, and we made dumplings. I'd only think about the dumplings, and I'd only think about the food that was on the anime. And it's like food memories were the one I realized that honestly, just all the food memories stuck in my head. I'm like, maybe this is like the reason why, but
I mean,
yeah.
it's amazing to me. It really is, because there's so much that like goes into it, and there's so much stuff like negative and like positive that you can pull out, and it's like it's not really. I mean, that's really what I'm curious about. Like, I think people need to. Not everybody has a place like AKA that allows you to kind of explore that part of yourself, right? I
Yeah.
didn't know that,
How many adults actually have joined,
which
and
is
they've never
amazing
been
too.
into any adoptee community or camp before. So I'm like,
That's
okay.
yeah, that's amazing to me. Because like, imagine going, all those years, and then finally at like the age of 24 or something, right? Like, being able to explore a part of yourself that you really wanted to. I mean, that's like, I don't know. It's something. I think it's the reason why people who spit into a tube and do the whole ancestry thing, and then actually go down like their family tree and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
the more you find out about where you came from, right? Or just like your history or your family, anything. I think
Mm-hmm.
it kind of gives you this like bigger picture a little bit. And
Totally.
there's a difference with like family and family trees and shit. Like, people do that all the time. But for somebody like you know, like I said, you're embedded so much as like an American, because you came here when you said you were what, 2, right?
7 months.
7 months. Yikes. Okay. Wow. I was way off. So
You're good.
like, say what?
No, I said no. You're
Oh,
good.
okay. So I don't know. I mean, like, it's got to be this like weird, incredible feeling of like exploring that kind of side of yourself. I mean,
Totally.
all right? So what's one thing that you maybe took away from like finding out about your culture or Hunan, anything like that you really still to this day have like maybe incorporated into your life?
That's a funny question because I don't think I have
Okay.
incorporated anything, and it's honestly cooking. It's coming out like my inner whatever. It's coming out. I'm like, so when I'm cooking and people are like, "What are your favorite dishes?" and I'm like, I literally love cooking like Indian food, Mediterranean food,
Right.
Japanese food, like all these. Because one, I like grew up in New York City, ate
Right.
all the food my dad cooked and all that stuff. But I found it funny that I was like, I have no idea how to cook Asian food. Only in the past 2 years, I've like learned the kind of the techniques, but it's still like it's a crazy, intricate,
That's a
and
whole
respectful
other world. Yeah.
art.
Yeah. That is
I'm
that is
like,
oh my God. Even this is gonna sound weird. This is gonna sound weird, and this is, I mean, this technically goes more with like Korean cuisine, but even the way that like vegetables and potatoes are like peeled, it's like different directions in some case. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if you know about this, but like in America and in the U.S., like with those kinds of like culinary trainings, a lot of times it's like what is it? It's like, I think it's towards you, right? You're taught to like peel towards you, I think, right? And then in a lot of other cuisines, including like Korean and stuff, it's like away, and it's like small little subtle things like that that
yeah,
I didn't even know about. And it was just like, and like, I don't know. The more I've been like diving into all this, the more it fascinates me in a way. Like you said, it's just kind of coming out like in your cooking, which is, and you're right, by the way, it is like a whole other realm of like training. Like it,
as is any kind of cuisine. And
yes,
honestly, sometimes when you're a chef, you're just like, whatever works for you, because
right,
you're
yeah,
it's cooking is like an art,
right.
it's an edible, delicious art.
It literally is.
Do whatever you want with it, and you're just putting yourself on a plate, literally. What the
Right.
TV shows are saying, it sounds sappy, but yeah.
It's true. You're literally giving yourself an opportunity to show people a part of yourself. Like, this is what I wanted to, like I said, you're trying to create an end result that you think best represents or better represents you than you do,
Yeah.
right? Like, wouldn't you rather, and I don't know how you are, you seem like a very personal person, but personally for me, I would much rather serve somebody a dish, watch them eat it, and like have them enjoy it, than have like a full-blown conversation about like most things. Like, like I do love to talk, but like I would much rather, like, I love to feed people. Like, I love
Yeah.
feeding people. Like, I love feeding people. Like, and I'm annoying with it. Like, I'm horrible. I'm the worst. Like, ask my wife. I'm fucking horrible. I'm like,
You
oh my
cook
God.
for 8 of your in-laws?
Yeah. And yeah, I
You're
mean, even with the catering, like, I didn't realize how much prep catering was. Like how much catering is prep. I guess I should say that. Like, first of
That's
all,
why they hire prep chefs at 4 in the morning.
yeah, oh shit. Like, first of all, mise en place, great fucking word. And for all you dummies that don't cook, sorry, that was mean. Mise en place. I went to film school, by the way, so mise en scène is something that I dealt with a lot, but very similar. So
I don't know what that is.
so mise en scène, much like mise en place. Mise en place, for all you people watching me and hearing me, mise en place is like, you know, your chives. It's things that are portioned out, things that are ready to go. You have your entire station just ready to go. You've got everything set, right? And especially like your garnishes are the main part of it, right? Like everything you finish dishes with, like anything that's going to be like, you know, layered in the dish, sauces, like finishing sauces, all that shit. Like you have everything set so that when the fucking thing comes out of the oven or it comes out of the pan and it's hot, you just go. And that's it, you know? And mise en place in film is kind of like that. It's like everything in the scene, right? So it's like making sure everything is kind of set up so that you can just kind of like go. And exactly. So that's why when
scene.
yeah, well, yeah, mise en scène, as the French say, mise en scène, which is amazing. But yeah, so I don't know. Like I have found, because I went to film school as well, and I've always like done screenwriting, and I've always done like, you know, like written and revised scripts. I did a fucking research paper as my final thesis on psychology, like incorporated into cinema. Like it was insane. It was stupid, but it was I don't know. I'm finding that I like to dive into these worlds, and it seems like you kind of do too a little bit, where it really forces creative output. Like it forces you to have to channel something in yourself to get some kind of result, you know? And when you cook for 125 people, there's something you got to pull out inside of you. That sounded horrible. There's something inside of your soul that you need to extract. That sounds even darker. That you need to this is all right. You know what? We're going to reset, okay? We're going to reset right now. Creative expression. So basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Let me stop with the intricate metaphors. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's not enough talked about it. But by the way, to what you said, asking a chef what their favorite thing to cook is possibly, I think, one of the stupidest questions ever. Because like, if you say, not to be mean to people, but it's true. Come on. Like
it's a hard question to answer.
It's like what's your favorite thing to cook? I don't know, food. Like what the fuck are you supposed to say? Like you know, it's like I love to cook. Like that's what I like to cook. Like leave me the fuck alone. Like that's like, you know, like like not to be mean, but like it's true. Like I'm not, you know.
Start with that. I should start using that answer.
You should, yeah. It's like, what do you like to cook? I like to cook food. Why don't you sit down and eat? How about that? Like, my God. I don't know. I feel like when you're in this world, right? And I'm starting to finally like be a little more present in this world, right? Like I didn't do the real way like you did. I didn't go to culinary school, right? I learned through many mistakes to not make. First and foremost, which I remind people of most episodes, a sharp fucking knife. So anybody listening and watching, sharpen your fucking knife if you haven't already, because you're going to go to cut a tomato and you're going to chop a finger off. So literally.
There you go.
That was the first thing actually my dad told me when I was young about cooking. He was like, the one thing in the kitchen that's more dangerous than a sharp knife is a dull knife. I was like, okay, that's simple enough for my tiny brain to, that's simple enough for my small little brain to retain. I think I'll just remember that, you know. But I don't know. I feel like there's so many parallels in these different worlds, and somebody like you're kind of an amazing example of it in a way, because you literally are living all these things that, you know, make you. You know, I mean, you're part of an organization that represents something that you are not only a part of, but something that you care about. You are extremely athletic and you're involved in squash. You went to culinary school and you do private chefing and catering now through that. You know, you're an avid musician. You've been a musician since you were young and you're a keyboard player. Like you've constructed your life in a way to where you're able to kind of channel yourself through all these different outlets. And I feel like there's more parallels in things like that people could be doing that they don't. Like people will shove something to the side as like a hobby, right? And not pursue it further than that because maybe they want to. Maybe some people just want to keep it as a hobby, and that's fine. But I feel like there's something to maybe explore a little bit more for some people. And I think that you're like a good example of that, to where you're like, I'm going to find things that I know that I really want to roll with. and I'm gonna fucking go. And that's like, that's something you should be jazzed about. Musical pun. um, musical pun. Oh man, I forgot the camera's on people. Now people are just gonna see me fucking.
Yeah, I know.
They're gonna be like, "Oh my god." They're like, "Oh, this is my first and last episode of Spicy Memories." So yeah. Okay, so what's your favorite thing to cook? No. What all right, here we go. What is one ingredient that you maybe recently discovered or started using, maybe not discovered, that has changed the way that you cook things or season things or finish things, anything like that? I mean, for me, it's furikake and gochujang. I started using
What was the first one? It cut out.
furikake seasoning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so amazing. It's like the real version of everything bagel seasoning. Literally. Like it's like toasted sesame seeds and dashi and like nori and like all these incredible things that add all this umami to finishing, even just plain rice. That and gochujang I've started using to cut like barbecue reductions that I make, and like I mix it with QP mayo and I make a coleslaw out of purple and green cabbage, like stuff like that. So for me, it's like those two recently that have really like changed the way that I kind of finish things and stuff. But is there something like that for you? Maybe even the past like couple of years, even maybe even through like ICE, that you were just like, holy shit, how have I never used this before?
Honestly, it's so easy, but I never used alcohol.
Really? Oh, no,
When I
that's
was
not
cooking,
easy.
yeah, I don't really drink liquor, and I was like, I made French onion soup the other month, like twice or whatever, and you
Fuck
finished
yeah.
it with the cognac, and I was like, God damn, this is so much
This is
better.
this is exactly.
Alcohol.
Even cooking, like when I first made coq au vin or beef bourguignon,
Yeah.
I was like, this is an uncomfortable amount of wine. Am I supposed to use this much? And everyone's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I'm like, are you sure? And I'm like, I feel like this is like a trick someone's playing on me.
Yeah.
Like, but
No,
cooking.
because it was on all of the like Institute of Culinary Education recipes, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of alcohol in the vicinity. I was like,
I
oh
know.
yeah, it's in the recipe.
Yeah. And one important thing with alcohol, cooking with alcohol, is that, they always tell you should cook with something that you would drink, right? And when I was younger, I was like, nah, son, Progresso makes fucking cooking wine. I'm gonna cook with that vinegar. And so I'll just like throw that in like, a linguine and clams dish.
Yeah.
And I then got older and I realized when I started cooking, one day I picked up like a very, very nice, like, Cabernet Sauvignon, right? And I was making a risotto and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to put some of the red in the base with the shiitake mushrooms that I had. And I had everything toasted with this. I make this Calabrian chili infused olive oil. So I mix together a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of canola oil, and some Calabrian chilies and garlic. So it's a higher smoke point than olive oil, but it has really good heat. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Anyway, so I had this whole dish, and then I was like, fuck it. And I poured the red wine in, and I cooked the whole thing through, and I tasted it, and I'm like, yeah, I totally see what they mean. Because when you cook the alcohol off, all you're left with is the flavor.
Yeah.
So if you're
I
cooking
drink
with
more liquor.
exactly, that's what like my God. And it's an opportunity to drink while you cook. That's like, come on, like Jesus Christ. Like, man, that was one of the first catering gigs I ever did. I was catering and I was doing stuff in the back, and even we were just doing prep. We weren't actually on the job yet. And the chef just kind of was cooking with like this red wine, and he poured some into the cup, and we're just kind of drinking it while we were prepping stuff.
Right.
PSA, by the way, don't drink heavily when you handle sharp knives. But it's, I don't know. It's like, it's when you can taste it through the food, it changes how you use it to me. I mean, is it like, is cognac the one that really kind of fucked you
I
up
was the
mentally?
French onion soup. I was like, God damn.
That's pretty good. French onions. I never thought about that, because usually for French onion soup, I would use brandy if I had it.
Mm-hmm.
But also sometimes I don't have it, and I'm like, I'm just gonna use a little red wine, and it'll be all right. And
Okay,
so, you
yeah.
know what I mean? But
I've never
like,
heard of that
it's not a real thing. It's me being lazy and not getting the right ingredients, and being halfway through a dish and being like, fuck, just like being like, well, this is not gonna work out.
It's adapting to the situation. Yeah.
Yeah, which is what a lot of cooking fucking is. Jesus.
Which is also
So,
fun.
okay, so out of all these things that you do, right? Like, is there one of them that you tend to gravitate towards more, like mentally, or just like in general, like out of like cooking?
Cooking.
Yeah.
I literally think about what I'm going to eat the next day. While I'm eating it, I'm thinking about another recipe that I might try out or what I'm going to eat next. So
Cooking, definitely.
cooking food, yeah. And it's funny.
Do you think about it when you're on stage or no?
No, on stage,
No.
I'm literally panicking. I'm like forgetting the chords, even though I've practiced it like a bajillion times. So yeah, no.
I don't know about you. It took me a while to be comfortable on stage in front of people. And
How long's a while for you?
let me see. My band started in late 2010. I
Okay.
would say by like mid 2000, like almost a year of playing consistent shows
Okay. Yeah.
until I was like, fuck it. And I just started jumping around like a fucking lunatic, right? And like, I realized that when I was on stage, it was a different kind of persona than when I was just kind of off to the side talking to people next to the amps, not being able to hear.
Mm.
Like people that ask you questions, you got to like lean in like that. Like what? Like, like it's like, I just played a show, right? I don't know. It took me a while to kind of get comfortable. And for me, it was, I don't think as musicians, we realize that like our fuck ups, like 90% of the time, they're not going to hear, right?
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to try and process. Like
Yeah.
you know that you played, a sharp when you were not supposed to, or like whatever, like any whatever, but like no one's gonna fucking hear that, right? But like
Even the band doesn't even realize it until you like hear it back on the recording, and still, because everyone in the band's just thinking about whether they're playing
yeah,
well or
exactly.
not as
And
well.
there's certain people that have this ability to just play like flawlessly through. Like my old guitarist and a good friend of mine, this guy Kevin, he
Jealous.
was we would play a lot of these like basement shows, and when we would have these like reunion shows, we're in this guy's basement that we would rent out, and like it was just everyone was drinking and partying, and everyone was so fucked up all the time. So like we would play all these songs that we used to play like 5 years before that and try to remember them. And I remember thinking that it was the most incredible thing I'd ever seen. Kevin was literally blackout drunk, right? And
Nice.
he didn't miss a note. Like not a note. He played
That's what it's in here.
right. I mean, we played this song called Infested, and then right after we finished, he just started playing the intro again. I'm like, no, we just played that. So like he played the same song twice in a row, forgetting that we just played it. Like and that's what got me realizing. I'm like, there's certain musicians that are just mentally on a level where they're operating separately than like what's going on. Like he was so belligerent that he didn't even know that he wasn't supposed to play the same song twice in a row. But when he played them both times, it was fine. It was totally,
Hilarious.
it's insane. And I think like certain people have this way of, I think, of like splitting up their brain, right? Like people who can play certain guitar riffs and sing at the same time when it's not meant for that. Like Hendrix did that a lot. John Mayer does that a lot, where, they'll play these guitar riffs that are not really meant to be played and sang together because they don't line up and because it's not fucking syncopated like at all. And
Yeah.
I feel like that requires a certain like split in your mind. You know what I mean?
Bro, playing guitar and singing at the same time takes a lot of practice.
It does. Humming helps. Humming the melody does help when you're first, because when I was first getting comfortable doing that, humming kind of helped me. Like,
It's more difficult than piano, I think, because it's literally like two, like the shapes and the strumming, and
Yeah,
then
see,
you're singing and heart like,
yeah,
and
but
the
see, to
piano you're
me,
just
the
going like this.
piano, what you do to me would be harder because with a piano, and I play piano, you have the left hand as the bass and you have your right hand as the treble, and you need to be doing something totally separate with your left hand while you're doing the melody with your right hand. And they both need to kind of work together. And I mean, if you think like, and granted, like sometimes like they teach you when you take piano lessons, everything lines up, whatever. But like, it really is like, especially in like, stride piano, like those kind of like jazz players and stuff.
Yeah, that's difficult. If you're singing on like the Maple Leaf Rag for some reason, that would be very hard.
That'd be a great song to open the show with. Like, we're gonna open with Maple Leaf Rag. Like, what the fuck? After this, we're gonna play The Entertainer. Like, like it's just like, oh man. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it requires a certain separation in your brain, and I was always able to do that to a certain level. Like, I am a rhythm player, right? So I can play really good rhythm guitar, and I can now do some like finger stuff. And then I started practicing more intricate stuff. Like I started trying to learn some like Coheed and Cambria, and I don't know if you know Coheed at all, but
No.
the lead singer is also the lead guitarist. His name is Claudio, and he plays these insane riffs and sings at the same time, and they do not line up at all, like whatsoever. like it's so frustrating trying to learn that.
Motherfucker.
Oh God, I know. There's certain people that, like, there's certain musicians that I could lock myself in this room for 12 fucking hours a day and practice until my fingers bled, and I will never be as good as some of these people. And that's the musician struggle too, I think, is that you're always aware that there's always somebody who's like always going to be better than you, you know? And I don't know about you. I mean, I used to not care about that, but then I would, you know, no, which is, I mean, it's good if you don't really give a fuck about that, because then you can actually enjoy. But like, I would play with certain people, and much like cooking, right? It helps to surround yourself with people that are better at that than you, because you tend to learn a lot. You know?
Yes.
Right. I mean, you don't learn if you're just, you know, if your ego's blowing up and you're just like, I'm the best fucking person in this band. God damn. Like, you know, like, you know, all right. It's like, you know, it's like, I am Simon, you're Garfunkel, you know? So it's like, that was mean to Art Garfunkel. Sorry, Art. But he's fine. He's doing fine. He's Art Garfunkel. But I don't know. I like with music and like food, I'm seeing the older I get and the more I cook, especially, and the more into it I get. Like, you have more experience than me in like a professional cooking setting, because when you're in culinary school, they're prepping you for that. They're not just prepping you. Like, a big misconception with cooking school and with culinary school and the arts in general is that I think people think that you go there and they just like give you recipes and they're like cooking, and like that's not what it's like. They're teaching you how to braise, how to saute, how to make a roux, how to make a bechamel, how to do the base. If you need to make a soup, here's how you make a soup. It doesn't matter what the fucking flavors are. This is how you make a soup, right? You know. So like, that's really what it's about. And then it's kind of up to you to let your creative expression kind of go through that.
Exactly. That's the reason why I went to culinary school, to learn all the techniques and just to know more flavors and everything like that. And then you just go off into the world and run with it. But
So,
that's, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, so at ICE, I don't know if it's set up the same way as CIA, but at CIA, from people that have been there that I know have told me, everything is kind of separated as far as like semesters. Like, you have a whole semester on like bread, right? And like then a whole other semester on like potatoes. And like, so
it's a way more intricate version of
okay.
way more intricate school than ICE.
Okay, so okay. So you're saying CIA is more intricate than ICE?
Oh, totally.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, ICE, honestly, the program I did was, it was 8 months, and it included an externship, which was working at a restaurant in the city. And there were like 4 or 5 modules. It was like sauces, soups, like techniques, baking. Don't really remember the other ones. And there was like other like street food and fun stuff from like famous chefs, recipes,
right,
like that.
It blows my mind that they break it up like that. Because like, when you think about cooking, I feel like people don't realize that there's people like you who go to school and you learn the intricacies of like all these different aspects, right? Because like, if you learn to like, you know, bake a loaf of bread, you're like, okay, well, that's how you bake a loaf of bread. But like, you know, it's different if you want to make like, you know, a crusty, you know, French loaf, or if you want to do like sourdough, or if you want to make biscuits, right? Like, it's like, you know, or dinner rolls, anything like that. There's like all these different kind of aspects to it. And I feel like people don't really appreciate how much work it takes going into culinary school. Like, I chose not to go because of, you know, money, but also outside of that, because it's not cheap, which a lot of people also don't know. Like, when you tell people how much CIA or ICE costs, they're like, what?
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. But I feel like there's so much more that people don't really appreciate about the intricacies of that. And it's the same thing as like when you're learning music. Like, you know, if you learn how to play a song, right? Like, I remember my dad learning this bossa nova song when I was like, you know, probably 11, and he had the classical Brazilian guitar, and he was doing the, you know, the alternate picking with the thumb, all that shit.
Yeah.
But like, that's learning like a song. Like, he wasn't like learning the techniques of like bossa nova. Like, you get some of the techniques a little bit, like, you know, just like when you're learning how to make one type of bread, like, you're learning how to make that type of bread. You're not learning how to bake bread. You're not learning how to make sourdough. Like, you're not, you know, sourdough is a whole other fucking, please. That's like a whole, do you fuck with sourdough at all, or no?
Oh, I love sourdough. I'm not much of a baker.
I was going to say, yeah. Do you make sourdough or no? Like,
I'm not much of a baker.
Can I be 100% honest with you?
Yeah.
I fucking hate baking compared to cooking, like, so much. I'm sorry. It's just,
Fair.
it's so much science, and it has to be exact, and you
A
don't know if
little
it's
bit boring.
sometimes because you're just waiting. And then if you wait and it's fucked up, you're like, well, that's it. It's ruined. Like,
Like, the only creative stuff is the add-ins for the flavors, kind of, and you
right,
kind of know that. But
right. Like I've made sourdough. I've made my own starter, right? And I've grown my own starter, and I've made sourdough, and it's great. But it's just this waiting and this process, and I'm more
you're
like
not
I want,
patient.
yeah, I want the fire, and I want the heat, and I want to yell, and I want bad language, and I want music. Like I want to be doing 20 things at once, and
Yeah.
baking, now that being said, professional bakers and people who do that for a living, I'm not shitting on your career. I'm just saying that
I'm respecting their careers
yeah,
personally.
no, you can respect their careers, but like you should totally cook, you people. That's what you should be doing. Is you should just cook a little bit more. Um, but no, look, baking is a very exact science. So people who do it well, like especially like pastry style baking, that's like delicate actual like
They
pastry.
should,
Like
they should, yeah. They should
that's
get paid 20 bajillion times
oh
more.
my god, like oh my god, that's like a level of delicacy that I'll never have. Like I I just don't have that much coordination. Like I check my watch when I'm holding cups of coffee. You know what I mean? Like boop, and I just drop them. Like I'm like that kind of person. So the amount of like,
Elegance.
yeah, yeah, the amount of like skill and like intricacies and like the just the delicate touch that it takes for a lot of this baking stuff, I just don't have. And
Same.
I
The art,
appreciate
the
it.
art, the baking, like honestly, plating for cooking for me is like the hardest part. I'm
Really,
like, I cook delicious food. I'm like, where do I put this on the plate nicely? No, I'm not an art like visually artistic person. I just like can make the food. I'm like, okay, gotta plop this down here, not make it look like mush.
yeah, but also, you know what? As in the past, like I'd say 5 years, the trend has kind of gone more towards rustic slash comfort plating, I would say.
Yeah, I guess that bodes well for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, for somebody like you could do whatever. For me, who I'm just faking it till I make it, then yeah, it's totally cool. Everyone's like,
You're
"Oh, it's so rustic." I'm like, "Yeah, rustic. That's the word I was going for. Rustic.
yeah.
Totally not just me throwing it on the plate real quick." Uh, but no, and I've learned a lot about like drizzling and like the techniques with that, like with finishing sauces and stuff, and like how to use different kind of textures. And the main thing that I'm learning now is about layering of flavors because a lot of people don't do that.
I
And
love that.
like, oh my God, like the fact that like where was I? I was in the kitchen, right? And um the first chef who was there who left all the stuff for us, he had laid out these like chicken cutlets. And it was just the chicken breast, and he had like the tins, and he was like, fill these up with egg, flour, brick, and whatever, 2 cutlets. I'm like, okay.
Uh,
And like the way that I was taught and the way that like my wife does it, like everybody, is that I season the chicken breast, I season the flour, I season the egg, right? The breadcrumbs, if you don't
that's
have them
like
seasoned,
culinary school season everything.
everything. And what people don't get, especially with veggies, oh,
That shit is
oh, it
water and like the veg.
fucking kills me when I see people under seasoning veggies. Veggies are like humans. They have pores, okay? And the pores, when you heat them up, they open and they close. They open and they close. So if you season in the beginning of a dish and then the pores open and they take in that salt, it's not going to taste like a salty dish. You need to continue to kind of season as the
Yep.
kind of heat goes on. And then you got to finish it with something too, so that you have an even flavor all the way through. Instead
Yep.
of, somebody biting into something and saying like, wow, the outside of that is really salty. And I got like water on the inside, it like, and under seasoning just
It's about they just think about all the details. It's like I hate saying like perfectionist, but you do have to be a bit of a perfectionist to like
you
make it
absolutely do.
right.
Yeah. You
So
have to be a successful cook, you have to be a little bit of a perfectionist. You have to be like a tiny bit
care
OCD. Yeah.
about you honestly just have to care about every ingredient and
Right.
just like be aware. And it's
Right.
it's great. It yeah.
Right. Like I think when people make dishes at home and they just follow recipes online, if they just throw it all together and they just get an end result and they're like, well, why does this not taste the way it's supposed to taste? You're not thinking about the spices you're putting in. You're not thinking about what it's going to taste like. Like
Yeah.
every red sauce I've ever made in my entire life has started with olive oil, garlic, chili flakes, salt, and pepper, always, right? And you want to put the oil You want to season the garlic with the oil and the chili flakes because that flavor is then going to cook out and that's going to go through the whole fucking dish. And like, yeah, like, and so when you start thinking about it in like layers like that, like the chef that I work with every Sunday now, Chef, Melissa, she's incredible at that. She like layers flavor after flavor. And like when I think that she's done like layering and saucing and then plating something, I'm always wrong. I'm just like, oh, and there's just like something else. And it's like you get these multiple textures, multiple flavors as you bite through something and get that perfect bite.
It's literally, yeah, it's great.
It's just, it's amazing. So I don't know. So, all right, where do you really want to be like with your food in the next like couple of years? Like, are you looking to just continue doing the private chefing and catering through this? Do you want to open up your own place? Do you want to do your own catering? Like, what do you because I know outside of ICE, you also do your own gigs as well, right? Or no?
Yeah, I'm done with ICE. Yeah.
No, I know. I mean, like you do do you want like a brick and mortar place? Like, do you want like an actual restaurant? Do you want like a?
I went to culinary school knowing that I did not want to open a restaurant at the time or a food truck. And I've heard so many horror stories and I've worked in restaurants even now. And I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. So I'm very happy, honestly. So I've done this catering thing, honestly, like there was the pandemic, obviously, which it was rough, like no work for at least over a year.
Yeah.
So I was actually upstate in like Cambridge, New York, for a year and a half almost. And I came back June of last year, 2021. And I realized I had like over 20 catering gigs or whatever. So like the volume somehow blew up when I told people like, oh, I'm back in the city. So I'm just hoping that will continue in the future. And yeah.
So, and I do want to talk about your Instagram. You have over 21,000 followers, which is amazing. When did that actually like start like blowing up? Like, when did that really like get traction? And was it because of like you cooking? Was it because of you posting food in the city? Like, what was it? What actually like got it traction?
I actually learned a lot about Instagram in general at that startup meal kit company, and they had me actually take over this other account called Food Style Guide, which is like they were literally having me like take like stock photos of like food and like post it. And that now looking back, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense because it's not our photo. And I'm like, I was crediting it in the caption or whatever. But they taught me a lot about just like how to grow an Instagram account. I also had a lot of time on my hands, so I did a lot of research. So then once I left the company, I transferred it to my own. And there's just like a lot of hashtags and like just tagging and being very, very active on Instagram.
Yes, that's the main thing. If you can keep up with it, well, yeah, my God, if you can keep
do anymore. It stayed at like the number I'm at because I'm not doing anything. It takes a lot of work to promote yourself. I'm not happy with this number. I'm like doing other stuff, and so.
And I think part of the problem too with anybody on social media is that the constant changing algorithm, especially for an app like Instagram, it really, really fucks with everything. Because like you train yourself a very specific way on how to engage and how to grow, and then the algorithm just totally changes. Like I remember I joined a foodie group that a friend of mine from New Hampshire got me in. And all of a sudden it was like, no, liking isn't what gets you on people's pages. It's saving the post. So if you like our posts, you have to save them too. And I'm like, I'm like, what? I was like, seriously? Like, and I don't know. It's just like, and certain reels that I put up have gotten, I talked about this in the last episode, like certain ones have gotten a lot of views and they're complete fucking bullshit. Like total bullshit. Like the ones
you don't care about are the ones that get the most traction.
Every fucking time. It's the most annoying thing ever. Like I set up like my camera, I'll shoot in like 4K on my phone. I'll get these nice like close shots of like slicing and like dicing, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, it's beautiful. And it'll get like 300 views, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just gonna go like smother myself with a pillow.
Go fuck myself.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just go fuck myself. That's fine. But then like the one that recently got a lot of views was me when I finally got access to Restaurant Depot, and I came home with like the 5-pound bag of spinach that was like this big. Like it was me just
that's gonna shrink anyway.
Yeah. I was just showing all the stuff I got from Restaurant Depot, and it got like over 100,000 views in like no time. And I'm like, fuck this. Like this is so stupid. Like I put so much effort into all these other videos, and nobody fucking cares. And
I
then
know.
I don't know about you, but like when I post something that I really care about and nobody likes it, right? I'm like, all right, whatever. But then you post something that you don't really give a shit about and it gets a lot of likes. That pisses me off because I'm like, I know that these people would see it. You know what I mean? Like I know you're seeing it. You're just like, no. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It's just Instagram is
Bottom line is don't give a fuck. Just post whatever. Some
right.
people are like, oh, I'm scared to post this. I'm like, bitch, there's so much content out there. No one gives a fuck.
It does not matter. Like
I posted embarrassing things. I'm just keeping it up. I'm like,
you
whatever.
have to put a little part of yourself, which you do, which is great. You put a little part of other aspects of your life into the Instagram, not just straight up food. You know, like you'll post about AKA, you'll post about squash, like you'll post about just like in general, like being in Brooklyn. Like, you know, you have to kind of sprinkle in little bits of yourself, I think, because people want to see that.
Who's like behind the camera? It's like a lot of foodie accounts, like food porn accounts who are just like, oh, it's food, food. Don't know what the person is.
Right.
Like,
and like some people prefer it that way. I get it. But I don't know. Another new trend is like, you know, you'll see foodies and people posting like a selfie of themselves, like, oh, like holding something, and they're just like, hey, I have a lot of new followers. Let me introduce myself. This is Marana, right? And it's like to all my new followers, here's a little bit about me. And you know, I've even made a few posts like that, and I'm not happy about them. But even the one thing,
be yourself, be authentic, and like,
yeah, exactly. I think I stopped like censoring myself on Instagram. Like I used to care a lot about certain things I said and like did, and I'm like, do I use the word daddy too much? Like, is this like, you know what I mean? Like, is this like that's the main concern? Because like my family all follows me, and I say horrible, weird things. Like even I said something today that was borderline psychotic, and the post still got a lot of views, which I'm really happy about. But it was literally like I was talking about the difference between using like a cast iron and like a nonstick, right? And because I made like this dish inside of a cast iron, whatever. And then I said, proof that a good cast iron can be used for anything. Take your nonstick pans and throw them under the wheels of a moving school bus, making sure all the children feel the bump under the wheels, burning the feeling in their minds and memories of crushing unnecessary evils out of your life. Now, there is no reason that I needed to say that, but I'm like, fuck this. I'm just going to be like that because that's just how I talk. I'm a fucking lunatic. And so
do it.
I feel like you're right. I feel like you need to be yourself when you engage and not
in real life and also on the Instagram.
Yes. Yeah.
More
like
real life too.
like there are some differences between me on Instagram and me, but not
totally.
Not a lot though. like not a lot. Like I'm really like that.
Or like they're still trying to be fake and stuff. I don't honestly get it anymore. But
I mean, and to grow your page the way that you did, even in general, is just it's amazing. And the content that you post is really fucking good. Like it's really, really good. And I am curious. So you were upstate for like 18 months, you said, right?
Something like that.
So coming back to Brooklyn, the difference in cuisine availability, I'm curious. I don't know what it's like up in Cambridge, New York, or wherever you work, but like I don't know, like what, like the fact that like in a lot of parts of Brooklyn and like a lot of the city, you can pretty much get anything at any time that you kind of want to.
Yeah. It was funny though, because upstate, so I was actually at my boyfriend's parents' house and we were up there and chilling. You know, he's a musician too, so it's like we weren't doing shit. But his dad actually is very, very interested in cooking. And the first time I like looked in the pantry, I was like, oh, there's Chinese five spice. Oh, there's like he had a nice spice shelf up there, and like in the basement they have a bunch of stuff. They like get a deer every hunting season.
Nice.
So I think I lucked out with that one, to be honest. And
you did luck out, because in a lot of other places in upstate New York, that's not the surrounding that.
There's so many. I got on TikTok too because I was bored, and there was like unseasoned, like the like the white people. I don't know, making fun of like no seasoning, but I definitely got lucky up there, and I actually tested a lot of recipes up there.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thanks.
That's good.
Peter and Robin.
It's good that you had that. It's good that you had that experience. A lot of people, I feel like I know people who have moved to New York and stayed there just because it's if you're all right.
The city.
Yeah, the city in general, not New York. Um, big difference. I have family upstate. It ain't like the city. Trust me. I feel like a lot of people underestimate what you can really experience in New York City. And like, I used to want to live in the city more than anything. You're from Brooklyn. Like you've lived there you're for 27 fucking years almost, right? So it's like, and you've only been in Brooklyn, or have you ever lived in another borough?
No, in Brooklyn.
That's dope. You kidding me? BK. And like, I don't know. It's just, even like we always had access to New York City. Like I was born in Manhattan. I grew up, I don't know, 15, like 20 minutes away from the city. Literally we were in the city like all the time.
You went to school in the city too? Or
No. So I was born in the city. When I was a baby, I technically lived in Connecticut. But then when I was like a year and a half, we moved technically. But then when I was like a year and a half, we moved back to southern Westchester, like right outside, like Eastchester, like not far from like Yonkers and like the Bronx. And
Right.
so I've been in the city my entire life. I mean, like there was one point when I was younger that I was just going to the city like every fucking weekend. Like it was literally where we would spend time. And
Yep.
so I think a lot of people underestimate what's like available there. And I feel like we take it for granted because like as a New Yorker, there's certain things that we have all over the place that other places don't. Like the last guy on my episode, Kyle, and I talked about pizza and how the rest of the country considers like cafeteria pizza. That's like their pizza. Like that, like horrible, like you got to like rip the fucking crust to like eat it kind of pizza, like that's not like when you eat New York pizza for the first time, it's very different. And even like, I would say New York Chinese food, right? That's far fucking different from actual, as you know better than actual Chinese cuisine. Like,
if I hadn't gone to China for a hot sec, I would not have.
Like that's why when I actually started doing research into like dishes from like Hunan and like how like what like actual like red pork is and like all these amazing things, like I was like, oh shit, like, and you realize that like New York City and New York style Chinese food is great for what it is. It's like it's but I feel like a lot of people just say, oh, that's Chinese food. I'm like, that's not Chinese food. That's New York Chinese food. Like,
American.
that's right. That's American Chinese food. It's the same thing as like Italian food, right? Italian food that we have here, a lot of it is like American dishes.
So yeah, honestly, there's like a really good Thai place. Like I still love it. It's also going into like childhood stuff too, because like a lot of childhood triggers. It's like no matter whether you're an adult or a child, you'll still love it because it triggers your memory. But I've been eating this like Thai food from a lantern on Montague Street. Addicted, and I know it's Americanized, and then I like realized there's like an authentic place like only like a few months ago, not too far away, but it's like further than here. And I'm like, damn, this is freaking amazing. Like everything's so much better. I'm just like, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah. And when you have something that makes you feel that good when you eat it, though, it doesn't fucking matter what it is. It really doesn't. Like I've been David Chang is he's somebody I listen to a lot, and I've read his memoir, and I love Momofuku, and he talks a lot about he grew up in like Virginia, right? And his whole family is Korean, but his grandfather was one of those people that was like, it was like seriously taken over by like Japan. So he always considered himself like more Japanese. So like there were like these multiple layers of like disconnect with like his culture. And then even as he was like in culinary school, he talked once about how the professor, like he was making a pork stock, right? He was just making pork stock. And the professor like yelled at him because he was like, that's fucking swine. That's fucking swill. Don't fucking make that shit. And when you realize like, okay, so that's not present in like French culinary cuisine, I get it, but like it's hugely present in like other cultures and stuff. That doesn't mean that it's bad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Right. But at the same token, even though you have to appreciate like the authenticities of the original cuisines of all these places, the whole authenticity, quote unquote, trying to achieve that, I think is kind of bullshit. I think you should be cooking what you want and what you like. Like imagine somebody saying to you, you can only cook one kind of cuisine.
Yeah, that's messed up.
That's fucked up. And you know what? Some people, that's fine. If you go to Maria in the city, Chef Michael White, he sticks with the Southern Italian, fine. He loves it. You make your life out of it, you're happy. For me, I like being able to cook multiple kinds of cuisines.
Yeah, just being creative, whether it's like supposed to be on the books or not. Like honestly, French cuisine is only here because they wrote it down.
Yeah,
literally wrote it down.
Yeah, and
like,
everybody.
They're like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." I'm like, "It still tastes delicious."
You get culinary cuisine, you read it, you're like, "Are you sure this is a lot of butter? Are you sure I'm supposed to use this much butter?" That's one secret of like restaurants and like French cuisine and stuff that people don't know is the amount of butter that goes into your dishes when you're in places like that. If you knew,
You wouldn't want to eat it.
you would not want to eat it. If you knew
That
ahead of
was
time.
also in the baking module at culinary school. I
Was
was
it
like,
really?
damn, we're making all these pastries. Look how much butter, flour, sugar, and eggs go into everything. I'm like, I'm not gonna eat it. Not gonna eat it. Pops out of the oven. I eat.
Yeah.
I eat a lot.
Because then you realize like, oh, that's why it tastes so good. Like that's like literally like why does
Yes.
this taste so good? Oh, I brushed it with butter. Oh, okay. like that's why. Like
Yes.
and I've started doing that a little bit. Like I'll start throwing butter in. Like I actually I no shame. I buy frozen vegetables sometimes, right? Like because frozen veggies
I'm
people
not judging.
there's a huge argument too. Like look, fresh produce tastes great. But as far as like nutrients, there is like an argument out there that like frozen veggies may actually be better in a way because they're actually
Nutrient wise, maybe
right.
because they're
Yeah,
nutrients.
right. Does it taste as good to suck that much fucking water out of something before cooking it? No, but but regardless, it's what we have and it's quick. Like you know,
Yep.
we both have 9 to 5 jobs. So when I'm doing like broccoli that's been frozen after I defrost it, right? And I know no shame. I use Chef Mike, you know the microwave. I don't care.
Yeah. I,
Hey,
I love microwave.
hey, the microwave is totally underrated and people shit on it. But you know what? If you use it as a tool in your kitchen and don't rely on it 100%, believe me, you would be surprised.
Eating veggies for really quick.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because
You
if you
don't have
want
to
to,
use all the pots and the
oh my
less
God.
cleaning.
That's
Less
what,
cleaning.
like, you stick them in there, you soften them up. You want to throw them in a hot pan for a few minutes and give them a nice crust. Done. That's it.
Yep.
You know, no fucking blanching, like none of that shit. Like,
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
no, but I've started using butter in my broccoli when I saute them. After I defrost them and I saute them and I make it, I'm like, I feel like it needs to be a little more, how do I say this? Shiny. Like it's so, I just like throw like a few knobs of butter in there.
Yeah.
And that was also my trick with hash browns too. So like the good old Gordon there, Mr. Ramsay, taught me how to make pretty decent hash browns. And his trick is he puts knobs of butter along the side of the edges of the
Oh,
pan and lets it heat up and slide down the edge. And what that does is it not only creates a caramelization on the bottom so you can flip it without dropping it like an asshole, but it also kind of creates this beautiful crust on the outside.
exactly. I was about to say. Yeah.
And so, I mean, you know, and look, there's people
It's
that have,
all physics and just being intuitive.
right.
As
And
a chef,
also tasting as you go is a big part of it.
that is the second big rule. It's like season everything, taste as you go.
Right.
Yep.
Like you go through the amount of spoons that people go through in kitchens is insane.
Yeah.
Like I know that a lot of kitchens just use like plastic spoons to taste because it's just it's cheaper.
It's just like taste. Yeah, you got it.
Like it's easier. Just throw it out. It's better for the dishwashers because then they don't have like a fucking like tray just filled with spoons.
Yes.
But I don't know. So I am curious. What do you really define? Who would you define as like a chef? Because there's a lot of debate as far as like who's able to call themselves a chef and who's not.
Like you're asking for a person in general?
In general, like if somebody like who is there a person that you would consider like that person's not a chef, even though they call themselves a chef, you know?
I'm not very good at the names thing, but just it's literally in general, just whoever can.
Well, no, yeah, I'm not asking for a specific. I mean, just like in general, like if
In
somebody,
general, oh.
like no, I mean like in general, like
It was really stressed first.
no, because I'm just saying there's a lot of like professional chefs out there, and there's a lot
Yeah.
of you
It's
know,
whoever can adapt on a whim, to be honest,
okay.
and can be very creative on a whim and can balance the dish creatively and with purpose and reason.
I think yeah, there you go. I think that summed it up perfectly. I think it's about finding the right balance. I think it's about being creative, like you said, because that's the difference between just following a recipe and saying, yeah, but I think this would taste good, you know,
Right.
and like,
Yeah,
and
you blindly just follow a recipe, and if the recipe is great and it's tested to the T, it's like, yeah, you made a great recipe, but do you actually know what you did
right,
to make
exactly.
it taste delicious?
Do you
and
know,
it can
yeah,
translate that into some other flavor profile.
right, exactly. Or knowing what ingredients you're going to use and how they're going to taste afterwards, right? Like,
Yeah.
like for me, I don't really call myself a chef. I just because it feels like it's not like imposter syndrome, but
Bro,
it's like
if you cook, you're a chef.
there you go. See that sentence right there. That's what I was looking for. I mean, I always call myself a cook, but when I first started realizing that I was thinking about like the outcome at the end and really thinking through the process was not when I was making my hot sauce, which I have to ship you a bottle of that, by the way. I just made a batch. It's you don't have any, obviously you don't have any food allergies, right? So it's a mango coffee habanero hot sauce.
Wow.
Yeah, no, this isn't like no Tabasco
Never tried
shit.
that before.
Yeah, it's a kick in the ass, I'll tell you that. But once I was making that and I started making that rotisserie rub, I remember adding in brown sugar to my rotisserie rub. And I did that because I was like, so I have salt, pepper, garlic, cayenne, turmeric, dry mustard, like all these like very pungent smoked paprika, like pungent spices. And
Yeah.
I'm like, I need like a little bit of sweetness, right? Because as we all know, there's 4 things in every dish that everything needs, and that's salt, fat, acid, and heat, right?
Thanks
So,
for the book.
boom, nice little plug for her. Not like she knows it, not like she needs it, but like so. I remember putting in the brown sugar and saying like that'll help because when it actually cooks, not raw, it'll caramelize a little bit, and
The
that
Maillard
sweetness.
reaction.
Right, exactly. So I was like, and I remember catching myself and being like, that was the first time that I really thought something through. like in the outcome, not just throw a bunch of shit in a dish and be like, and like flip it, like that's the majority of what I did for like 3 years was just putting stuff in a pan and being like, hey, look what I can do, flip, like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I feel like you said, I feel like with cooking, I always tell people this, if I can cook at a higher level than just a home cook, anybody can, because I'm the most uncoordinated fucking walking sloth of a human that you've ever met. And so if I can manage to not set a professional kitchen on fire, not chop a finger off, be able to throw dishes together, like anybody can. It's just a matter of looking at it differently, I think,
Totally. Yeah. And I love that a lot of people started cooking during the pandemic.
I know that was so good. Like, look, it sucked for the food business and it sucked for people like you who were caterers, obviously. But the benefit of that is that I think a lot of people actually started giving a fuck more about cooking.
I'm making so much bread. And they just started cooking. And I was like,
Man, dude, the first week of the pandemic, I made banana bread like everybody else. But I was like, I'm going to go a little fucked up with it. I had these little mini Reese's peanut butter cups. And I'm like, okay, so I cut them into little quarters and I put them in as the chocolate chips. And so it was like a Reese's peanut butter cup banana bread. And that recipe got made so many times on Instagram by people who saw it. And like, there's a whole highlight reel in my Instagram of just the banana bread and people making my recipe. And I was
don't like bananas, but that tastes amazing. That I can taste it in my brain. And
I know. Well, because bananas are kind of weird if you think about it. Like, bananas are very weird. Like, if you think about the texture of a banana, it's kind of gross. Like,
oh yeah, I don't like bananas anymore. I used to when I was younger, apparently.
I mean, who doesn't though? I feel like that's just something you're given when you're a kid. So it's like, yeah, okay, shut up, eat a banana. It's just like, here, have a banana. Or like what my dad used to do. I remember seeing him do this with bananas and thinking, wow, that's a lot of effort before you go to work. He would take really good peanut butter, right, and scoop it into the corner of a Ziploc bag, right, and twist it like a piping bag.
Yeah.
Bite off the end of the Ziploc because we're all fucking animals. And then he would squeeze it like a piping bag onto the ends of the banana and eat the banana as he was squeezing the peanut butter. And in my mind, I'm like, that's a lot to do at 6:30 in the morning. But I was like, that's like, but I always remember that being, that's like a creative way to eat a banana. I get that.
Now there's that stupid Skippy commercial or something about them, like they're squeezing it on, like they're like, oh, we can take the peanut butter to go just exactly how you
really.
Yeah. I don't. The tune is playing in my head now, and it's like annoying me. But
fucking Skippy. Are you a?
That's a smart way.
Are you a chunky or a smooth peanut butter person?
Shit. I do like the chunks.
You like the chunks a little bit?
Yeah.
A little bit of texture. A little bit of meh when you eat.
Yeah.
A little bite. Yeah. No, it's I usually prefer creamy peanut butter only because I hate when shit is stuck in my teeth. Like, it's one of my like.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, and like peanut butter itself, like, you ever realize that like if you just like take a scoop of peanut butter, right, and it's just like a little bit too dry, you're like, this was a huge mistake. Like, you're just like, you know what I mean? Like, you just like take a scoop and you're like, like now you're just like suffocating. Horrible. And I've started using almond butter recently, which is actually pretty good.
Oh yeah, almond butter is great.
But I really love the better version of bananas, fucking plantanos, man. So I've started using plantanos a lot in the past couple of years.
Yeah.
And like the first time I ever made like tostones or anything like that, I was like, I could fuck with this because especially the ones that are not the sweet ones, the ones that are a little bit sour, a little bit tart.
Yes.
Uh,
That's when they're like more green and not like
right.
yeah.
Yeah. The
Right. That's
Maduros? No.
the
Maduro.
best one.
Yes. Maduros? Which one are Maduros?
I'm done.
I think they're green and Maduros. I don't know. I could be wrong. Someone's gonna come after me for that. But I don't know. I think that the reason I wanted to bring you on the show is because exactly what we've been talking about. There's so many aspects to somebody's life that go into the things that they do for specific reasons. And not everybody can incorporate all the things that they love in their daily life. And if you're able to do that even on like a mildly successful level, it's something you should be like incredibly proud of, which it seems like you really do. I mean, especially like, I mean, your schedule is probably insane. Like I can imagine your schedule's probably all over the place, but
I try to chill for 10 minutes and I try to do something else.
so you like to keep your mind like occupied.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how I am too. I like the
I don't know what that is.
I don't even know. Like I think it's
problems.
When you're a creative person, there's this need to always be like learning or like doing something or finding out something. Like I'm like one of those people that
I get bored very easily.
Yes, absolutely. Like I will go into like Wikipedia wormholes on my phone finding out about stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I can. And then at the end of like the 20 minutes, I look up and I'm like, why the fuck did I just do that? Like, it's like, you just like, I feel like when you're a creative person, your mind is constantly on that gear and it needs to get satisfied no matter what you do. Like, I like the idea of having a day off, but like when I'm here and I take off work, I'm like making dishes I never make. I'm like vacuuming. I'm like cleaning. I'm like literally just like, I'm like a nut job. Like I can't do just like nothing. So
right, yeah, no, I'm literally like in bed and people think I'm not doing anything. I'm like, my brain is going a mile a minute, searching stuff, playing, like obsessed with 2048, doing all this other bullshit on the side. I'm like, I'm still doing stuff, guys, even though I'm like horizontal.
So do you have a favorite piano player?
No.
You can totally say yourself. That's totally fine.
No, not me. Well, I suck.
You don't fucking suck. I've heard your music. Believe me, you don't suck.
Man, to be honest, I have to get into new music because I've been listening to the same shit since like college, high school. I have not had time to actually like delve into an album of new artists and stuff. I just know like I actually just listen to a bunch of random songs from different artists in different genres, and I'm really bad at putting the names to faces to songs. Like I hear it, like I know that.
Yeah, but that's kind of the best way to listen to music, isn't it? Like to take in as much. Like Spotify's Discover Weekly has become a lifesaver for me. Like it really has, because 90% of the time, I don't know if you use Discover Weekly at all, but
I use TikTok, and honestly, that I didn't realize. I honestly thought it was like for like kids, and like there's that definitely like a demographic for people that are older.
Right.
And it's all about the sounds, and it's just like, damn, if that's actually a good song, that shit will blow off. And honestly, I got into the song's called "Hey Love" by Mother Mother. I don't know if you've heard of that.
No, I haven't.
I will play that shit like on repeat and just like go in.
And what I love about TikTok too is that it has blown up classic songs that became famous again. Like the fact that all these young teeny boppers know who the Bee Gees are now. Like, it's just like, man, I found you very well. Just like, the fact that that sound blew up on TikTok, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. There was an article recently, I forgot where it was from, but it was saying that like actually all the oldies are coming, like how the patterns go. All the songs are coming back now because there's such a huge saturated market, I guess, for the music industry, and they're kind of all trying to do the same thing, and people are kind of getting bored of like the same like a rapper beat and stuff, and they're just like, especially on TikTok, they're going back to the old stuff, and that's honestly what's blowing up on every other platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the fact that, think about it this way, if you are 19 now, right, you were born after 2000, right, and you Please. Hey, I was born in 1991. To me, like,
Oh,
yeah, I'm old. I'm sorry. Like,
I'm 95.
you're in my realm. You're in my realm still.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell people that I'm 65, but they don't believe me. So, but I was born in 91. So to me, like 1990 is still like 10 years ago. I always related everything to the year 2000. And I think it's because like there was such an emphasis on like Y2K when it turned the year 2000. And like, I was like 9, 10. You were like 5, 6.
So young. I don't even know what's going on.
Right. So like, but it was like this huge thing. People thought all the lights were going to go out. They were like, it's the millennium. Everything's going to blow up. Like everybody was like freaking out. And I think there was such an emphasis put on that like I still relate like 1980 to being like 20 years ago, but now it's not. Now it's like 40 fucking years ago, So it's I don't know. But if you're 19 and you hear Rod Stewart for the first time and it blows your mind because you're like, who the fuck is this? I've never heard of it. But these are songs that you and I heard, kind of growing up and just like around, because they were played on like classic rock and 104.3, like shit like that. I don't know. It fascinates me that like TikTok has been able to do that. Like I was so resistant to TikTok in the beginning, and my wife got it, and she would be laughing her ass off watching these videos, and I'm just like, ugh, and I was like the grumpy old man. I'm like, what fucking TikTok, right? I was like the stupid fucking boomer, and then I got TikTok, and now I don't know how I existed before TikTok. It's like,
So you're on it too? You kind of scrolling?
oh yeah. Oh, I have more followers on TikTok than I do on Instagram. Like I love TikTok.
I should follow you. I don't have any followers on TikTok pretty much.
Then I will happily follow you on TikTok. It is a platform that has like, especially with these trends and the filters, it's like the kids nowadays, like it was like like how we were young with Vine, right? Vine was one of those first things that was like the concept of it and the idea when you heard it, stupid. You were like 6-second videos, blow me. There's no fucking way that somebody could make a 6-second video interesting. And then I fell in love with that app so much.
Yep.
I was told about it because I actually, at the time, I was friends with one of the original developers of Vine. And he worked for like a video game company, and then he moved over to this company that I think Vine was owned by like Twitter. So he worked for like that company, and he was one of like the app developers. So I remember we were at a Halloween party, and he was telling me about Vine before it even like kind of came out. He was saying we're about to roll it out, and he was telling me, and I'm like, I remember hearing him talk about it, and I remember asking him specifically, like, did you say 6 seconds? Like I literally said that, and then like it was the first time that I think our generation kind of saw that short amount of time kind of force creativity, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like, again, if you can get it, it's like the girls that get it, the girls that don't. It's like speaking of TikToks, which like that's like 60% of our life now is like I'll walk in a room and I'll say something, and like 60% of the time my wife will just respond with a TikTok sound, and it'll just be like silent. If it's not on my For You page, it's like I literally was like, all right, so we're out of potatoes. Is it okay if I just use like the frozen like fries? And she's like, the girls that get it. The girls that don't.
Oh my goodness.
And then it's just silent, and I'm just like, so potatoes? She's like, yeah.
Okay.
Like, okay. Yeah. like that is, it is like completely taken over our life.
Dude, yeah, honestly, because I was coaching the middle schoolers today, because I put them in like a little.
Oh God, they're in middle school?
Tournament. Well, I do the middle school and the varsity high school, but the middle schoolers are nice and fun, and I just put together a nice tournament between them because we can't do other school matches because of COVID.
Right.
But, because we only have a certain amount of court. Some guys who aren't like reffing or whatever, I let them be on their phones for a bit.
Right.
They just hang out and have fun after school. They're on TikTok. I'm like, bro, like I saw that one. Like I can literally just like relate. I'm that old person.
Yeah, but it's nice. It makes you feel connected. Like, you're like in there, like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Trying to like whip and shit. Is this still a thing? The whip is.
They're literally like rapping the entire thing. Like, I drive got power, but smutter with the power. That one.
Oh my God! With the rock, it's about drive. It's about power. We devour. Yeah, that fucking yeah.
Yeah, but no, I'm like thinking back to my middle school, and I was like, oh right, yeah, there were songs that everyone knew, and we literally rapped the entire thing, not even knowing what words were coming out of our mouths. We just knew we were cool.
No,
like,
Jesus.
Saying the words.
The fact that Lil Jon was so prominent in our young age, and that you had a bunch of like 12-year-olds walking around going skeet 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 and not knowing not knowing.
Didn't actually know what that meant until I saw the TikTok video explaining it only a few months ago, because I've learned a lot from TikTok, unfortunately. But yeah.
Oh yeah, I've learned everything from TikTok. I like there was even have you bought olive oil before that has that stupid little ring tab that you yank out, right?
Yeah.
And then you take that little plastic piece and you just throw it, right? Usually. So you know how like some of the olive oil has like the trifecta, like the little triangle opening? When it's got that, you're supposed to take that plastic piece that you took out, flip it upside down, shove it in there, and then when you pour the olive oil out, it drizzles and it doesn't just come out and pour out. Literally. I was like, oh my God. I was like the amount of times that I've just put I was like, all right, everyone's going to taste my thumb a little bit and just put my thumb over the hole and just like drizzle the olive oil. like such, and this was pre, me discovering squeeze bottles, which have like saved my life.
Yeah.
Squeeze bottles, by the way, sidebar, squeeze bottles, I'm sure you agree, fucking lifesavers. Like good, and like the good, like heavy ones, like OXO ones or something, ones that have like a grip. Those are like, you could go from like 10 feet away and be like, shh, just like, fucking just like season something from like back there, like that's the fucking best. Oh God. So as we start the slow, I don't want to say decline, that sounds negative, the slow descent, as they say on planes, as we start our gradual descent towards the end, because I don't want to keep you here for 3 fucking hours.
How long's it been? Time is
almost 2 hours, right? Give or take.
Really?
Something like that. Yeah, something like that. I mean, it'll probably be shorter on the episode, so you people don't know what we're talking about. But okay, so I'm trying to think. All right, I was debating between one or two of these questions. Okay, so I think I know the answer to this. Actually, no, fuck it. I'm going to revise it. If you could have one tool in the kitchen, aside from a chef knife, because obviously chef knife you could pretty much do everything with. But if you could have one tool that's not a chef knife, so you have a chef knife and then one other thing, and that's it, and you've got to make like a whole ass meal, what would it be?
Tongs.
Yeah?
That was very impulsive because I haven't gone through the entire inventory. I'm praying.
You're talking about like the good tongs too, right? The ones that are like a hand exerciser ones,
Those tongs, yeah. Yeah, because if you're doing stuff and flipping stuff, you need something to flip. You can't really.
Right. Tongs are pretty fucking
cool. Why not? You can use it to stir.
Yeah. You could use it to hold chicken when you cut it. You could make it like a claw, like an extension of your hand.
Yeah. That was I think.
No, that's 100% true. That's totally true. I don't mind kitchen tools. What I hate are the one-off kitchen gadgets that only do one thing, right? Like I think those are the stupidest fucking thing. Like when I first saw that box, and people like just put an onion in and then just go and then
I was thinking about that in my head.
And you go like this and you fucking like smash the shit out of it and it dices it up all perfectly. I'm like, bro, just use a knife. Like,
yeah.
Like that, and like garlic crushers I'm using less and less, because like just use your fucking knife. Like literally put the flat of the knife down and smash the shit out of the garlic. Like that's it. Like you're done. And like garlic crushers, people think that it's like a time saver, but like is it really? Because like if you're just crushing garlic, just crush it. You know what I mean? Like don't fucking get this thing out and like peel it and take the little brown fucking butthole off it and then fucking put it, where the root is. The little thing, the little. Yeah, I know. By the way, I like for like 3 years ago, I just stopped taking those out of my garlic when I cook for myself. Like I don't care. It's what it's a matter. Like I've never eaten a dish.
I've heard about using. Honestly, I saw a Beat Bobby Flay episode, and he literally threw in the entire garlic clove and the
skins, yeah,
into some food processor. Have you used skins of garlic before? Because I did research and I was like, wow, they're actually very useful.
Yeah, not independently. I use them when I make stocks. I'll use onions in their skins as well. Nice. And then I'll do the garlic in the skins too. So like as the aromatics in the bottom with like my carrots and my leeks and all that stuff that go in there, I'll do like a halved garlic, whole head. And then I'll put like a whole white onion with the skins and everything. And then, because I'm going to filter everything out anyway later and like through a chinois or a fucking fine mesh strainer or whatever.
For sauces and soups and like,
It's the best, yeah. And if you, by the way, people, if you have the availability to get like a chinois or at least a fine mesh strainer, you should absolutely get it. Because those little like stainless steel like pasta strainers are like okay. But having a fine mesh strainer, when you make something that you need it for, like I just started making chawanmushi, right? Have you ever had chawanmushi?
Oh.
Okay, so chawanmushi is it's a Japanese savory egg custard. And it is basically, what was the ratio? It's like for every 7 eggs, you use like 1 quart of like dashi liquid, right? And
Is it
so
like Chinese egg custard you get in the bakery?
yeah, kind of. So, but it's like, but
Oh,
these are like savory, and it's meant to be scooped almost like a little custard. So you mix
okay.
together, what is it? You put in 7 eggs that are beaten with like dashi or seasoned liquid of some kind. You can even do water if you season it, but like dashi is like the best, obviously. And
Yeah.
and then soy sauce, and if you want something else, I used mirin sometimes if I have it, just because it adds a little bit of sweetness to it.
Mhm.
And then you mix it all together, and then you're supposed to steam it, which is the bitch. So it's actually a steamed dish, which is a fucking pain in the ass if you aren't used to steaming all the time, or you walk
There's
away.
still pastry around it too? Or that's
You don't have to. I mean, a lot of people just make it. Yeah,
okay.
no.
Right.
You can make it sweet, I guess. But no, it's not in a
I was just
pastry.
wondering.
No, they'll serve it in like ramekins or just bowls with like a fish cake and like stuff like that, and like a couple pieces of nori on top.
Mhm.
It's really good, but like you need a fine mesh strainer for that, because you literally are filtering everything through to get that beautiful consistency of like a custard,
Yep.
right? And I don't know. There's certain things that like I think about how I cooked for like years, and I'm like beating myself up for how much of a fucking schlub I was in the kitchen. Just like I was just like doing things so poorly. Like,
I
oh
just
my
thought
god.
you grew. You're good.
But I don't know. So I
I
don't know.
was
So
even like before I had no idea how to make soups. I was like, how do you make this water so flavorful?
I
I
know
was like, oh, that's how you do it. I'm like,
that literally, yeah.
favorite
When
thing.
the first time not just soup, the first time I made a stock, I went 20 years, 25 years almost in my life, and I'm like, I don't know what a stock is. I'm like, is it like, did they wring the chicken out? Is that what it is? Like, I didn't know what a stock like was. And then
Yeah.
we hosted Thanksgiving for the first time, and I had a giant fucking turkey carcass, and I'm like, I'm gonna do this shit. And I had like
Damn.
6 quarts of stock in my freezer. Like I was like,
Together.
oh my, so good. And you can use that in like everything. Using your own stock that you make is so much better. It's more cost effective. It tastes better. You can add in whatever flavors you want. You ever been drinking stock? Who drinks stock? But if you ever like eating something and you're just like, I wish this had, whatever X, like Chinese 5-spice or, rainbow peppercorns or like whatever. Like, you can literally like, doesn't matter, whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like I love adding caraway seeds into things.
Yes. Oh, I add that into my shakshuka, honestly.
Ooh, shakshuka. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I use fennel and caraway seeds a lot because I also pickle stuff a lot.
Right.
I'm like a shelf stable dude. I make hot sauce and all that shit. So I love pickling. I love making cabbage. Actual kimchi is my next endeavor, I think.
Nice.
Because this baker that I know actually who lives right near me, she makes this really, really, really good gochujang. Like really good gochujang.
Make gochujang. Like
But like it's so weird because she's like this tiny little white Jewish woman, and she makes this like incredible gochujang, and I'm like fuck it. Like when I was sick back in December, I had COVID, and when I was isolated in my bedroom by myself, she dropped off a care package in front of my apartment.
Oh, that's nice.
And it was the makings, and then my wife actually ended up cooking it and putting everything together, which was amazing. But she gave me all the necessary things for like an amazing spicy gochujang ramen. And so it was like a ramen dish with a lot of like gochujang in the base.
Wow.
So it's like you put the base in there and then you put in the noodles and the liquid. And it was like so fucking good. And oh, so good. But yeah, so kimchi is my next like endeavor, I think. But I use caraway seeds a lot. I use fennel seeds a lot. I love mustard seeds. Like I made this sardine dish because I love sardines. I don't know why. And I get the ones in olive oil because I'm not a psycho. People that eat, by the way, the people that eat tuna fish or sardines in water, I don't understand you as human beings, and I never will. I'm sorry. It's just juice. You just get tuna juice. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
So
you're not gonna put that in your smoothie.
No. So I made this like sardine dish where I took these sardines and then I made a chipotle aioli from scratch, and I had
Nice.
some thyme leaves on the bottom. I laid the sardine fillets on top, and then on the top, I drizzled it with some of that Calabrian chili olive oil, and then sprinkled it with mustard seeds, like
Wow.
straight, just lightly toasted mustard seeds. And when you toast mustard seeds, like a smidge, like I mean like a skosh, like a little bit, I don't know, it elevates them so much. I mean, like toasting dry like sesame seeds and like stuff like that. Nobody does that.
Levels it up. I'm like seeing things on like cooking shows, and I'm like, yo, toast those nuts. They're not toast.
No, like there was a trick from
Toast your nuts, everyone.
my favorite rapper, who's also a chef, Action Bronson, by the way, my favorite. He was a chef before he was a rapper, and he does this. He was making this lamb burger, and he gave me this idea that I started doing since then, which is he takes whole ass coriander seeds and he toasts them dry in a pan. And
Okay.
heats them up and gets the aromatics, and he crushes those up and uses that directly in the meat mix.
Nice.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, that's a good fucking idea. I was like, that's a really good idea.
Anything you can do on your own. Toasting it, crushing up in the mortar and pestle.
So
anything.
I usually do this thing on the end of the show called Dank or Rank, right? Where I list a bunch of things that are usually pretty controversial with people. It's probably going to be hard with you because you're a chef, so you're probably going to say that you like everything. Maybe not, though.
You're just listing ingredients or something?
No, just dishes, ingredients, things like that. So, like, things that you either think are, like, dank and, like, yay, or, like, rank and, like, mar, you know? So I'll do an abbreviated version. These are a few that are always on the docket because I'm curious what people think about them. So we're going to run through a few. If you like it, you say dank. If not, rank. The first one, first and foremost, cottage cheese.
Dank.
Really?
Yeah. We had cottage cheese and pineapple pretty often, and I was actually
second fucking person to tell me that.
Really?
Cottage cheese and pineapple, yeah.
Yeah. No, I used to be super into nutrition and bodybuilding too, and like that's like the number one delicious thing you can eat that's filling.
I just, you know what it was? It was never the flavor for me. It was the texture.
That's
and as I said, I think at last episode, I used to think of them as very testicular. So I used to stay away from them.
How can you say that? Because usually I'm like very like prone to like I don't like, the only things I don't like is eggplant and okra because it's slimy.
Oh, you don't like okra?
Because it's slimy.
Well,
Unless
yeah,
it's like used in like stews like gumbo and stuff like that. Just but cottage cheese I can do because maybe I ate it when I was younger or something like that.
Okay. All right. Well, all right. Fennel.
Fennel?
Yeah. Because a lot of people don't like the idea that it's basically licorice.
Licorice, yeah. If
You
you shave it into a salad.
a salad. Yeah, it's the next level ingredient for me. It really is. Like when I make, again, from good old Gordon taught me this. When I make a nice fatty square of pork belly, I usually braise it, and I've toasted it with onions and fennel first. And then I saute it in that, and then it braises with the chicken stock in like 3 hours with the fennel in there. Fennel, and I've used fennel. I have this sandwich that I make called the BFG, which is like basically thick cut bacon, fennel, and tomato. It's like a BLT but with fennel. And yeah, you need to start doing that shit. So like, listen to me. Let me give this right here. You ready for catering? You do a little tiny fucking toasty or something, right, for people. Spread on some kind of fucking aioli that you make, and then just put a nice fucking square of thick cut bacon to whatever shape the fucking thing is on, and then top that with fennel, and maybe drizzle a little bit of olive oil, and that's it, and sea salt. And I'm telling you, you will lose your peripheral shit. Like, it is so
raw fennel, or are you doing something to the fennel?
Just raw fennel. Because I like the raw white crunch.
You dress it at all with the lemon or whatever? Or?
When I make the sandwich, I'll slice it up and I'll toss it with olive oil, salt, pepper, and if I have a lemon, I'll do lemon juice, but usually just olive oil, salt, and pepper.
Nice.
Because I still want that like crunch. Like fennel is great, but like I want that crunch. I want that, you know.
Yeah.
But
fennel, I feel you on a sandwich. That's great.
I'm telling you, you gotta try it. I have a picture somewhere. Yeah, it's fucking great. I've literally gotten into fights with people in grocery stores because I'll go in there and the tops of fennels are just hacked off. And I'm like, bruh, I want the whole thing. They're just like, well, we don't have it. What do you think it is? In the back? It comes like this. Like, yeah, they're like, we don't have it. It comes like that. But like the tops of fennels are so good. And I use that for garnishing dishes all the fucking time because they have the essence of the fennel. It's like using dill you know, dill, like the tops of fennel is basically like fresh dill,
Exactly.
except it
Yep.
tastes like fennel. You know,
Yep.
it's like, I don't need to explain this to you. You're a chef. I'm like walking you through this like you don't know how to cook. Jesus Christ. All right, so that was fennel. Cilantro.
Dank.
Dank. Okay.
I used to not like it, but now tasting stuff, I've transitioned into
You've
the
transitioned into it.
soupy
Well,
thing.
were you like a green soap person, or you just didn't like it?
I used to hate cilantro, but when I started that meal kit company and I had to like taste stuff and I started eating more food and stuff, I'm like, this is nice,
That's good.
especially in Mexican food,
Oh hell yeah! Oh my god!
sauces and
Like
stuff.
the perfect taco, like a good, like authentic, like taco, soft corn tortilla, flat on a plate, right, with whatever kind of meat and filling a taco is, and then just raw white onion and like thrown fresh chopped cilantro on top. Ah, that's like, come on, what's better than
I
that?
don't want a taco. Fuck. I should have eaten dinner before.
I know you should have eaten before the podcast. Okay, what was the? Okay, so you're a New Yorker, so I'm curious about this. Pineapple on pizza.
So I've never tried it.
Okay.
So I can't say anything.
Okay, that's a good way to.
More likely not.
You know what it is? I've asked this question multiple times on the show, and I've gotten a lot of different answers. My friend Felix owns a pizza company out of Long Island City, actually, and he told me about this pizza place that he went to where they blend it into a sauce and they drizzle it onto the pizza. And I'm like, that's actually, I could see that maybe tasting pretty good.
There.
What I don't like is when you get it where it's just hunks of fucking pineapple on top of the pizza. It's like if somebody makes tacos al pastor and it's just pineapple and pork together in a taco. That's not how you do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can see how the flavors will work and can balance each other out. It's just
Right.
it's how the pizza is actually made. If the pizza's good and like they balance it out with the pineapple.
And you
But I
also
just
you need to cook the pineapple with everything so it incorporates all the flavors. Like, you know, the same thing as like with an actual like shawarma or with like pastor, you load up the pineapple in the middle of that spit and then you build the pork around it so that as you cook it, the flavor of the pineapple slowly expands out.
Makes more sense.
Exactly. But you don't just cut up a pineapple and throw it inside of a taco and be like pastor, you know.
Yeah.
that's what a lot of people do. And you know, like tiny little, you know, 22-year-olds like, this is amazing. I love it. Instagram, boom. All right. And what's the last one going to be? I have like a rotating 7 of them. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sardines. And or anchovies.
The dank.
Okay. No, I
have had it in like the Caesar salads vibes, but I haven't had it full. In the dressing, it's nice, and it definitely adds you a lot of the sauces. So
yes, absolutely. Which people don't see. People don't. I'll give you a little. There's an Italian sauce called an alige sauce, as my family calls it.
I don't know that.
But you macerate the anchovies out of the can, like the little fillets that come in the oil. Macerate it and make it into a paste with the garlic. Okay, like with the side of your knife. Right. And then throw that into ripping hot olive oil and let it all evaporate. And then you make a red sauce with that oil. So the flavor of it incorporates all throughout the red sauce. We've been making that sauce in my family my entire life. And it is fucking incredible. In fact, I made it for pasta 2 Christmases ago when it was just us here. And my wife was like, yeah, it's pretty good. And then like a few days later, I defrosted the rest of the sauce that I had and I made a pizza with it. And I was like, yo, I was like, this is.
It's all blended in. It's like adding, it's like,
man,
sneaking up on you.
Oh man,
I gotta try that.
So as we start to wind this down, before we do a fuck, marry, kill with food, which is the last part of the podcast.
I like games.
Yeah. Anything else you want to ask me, say, plug, talk about? Anything we didn't mention? Anything going on that you want people to know about aside from shows with Queens County roots? Anything?
No, I think we covered a lot and like everything.
We kind of did, right? It was pretty good. We were efficient. If anything, if nothing else, we were efficient.
Not coming out till like Saturday, right? Because my childhood piano teacher is playing. He's in the #1 Bruce Springsteen cover band in the States, and he's playing at Brooklyn Bowl tomorrow and Saturday. And I can get free tickets to that, but this is probably going to come out way later.
No, it won't come out Saturday. Don't worry. out of curiosity, what is the name of the number one Bruce Springsteen cover band?
Like Bruce in the USA or
Oh,
something
okay,
like
all
that.
right. I thought it was
Yeah.
gonna be like the AC/DC one is like Thunderstruck, and like the Zeppelin one is like
Oh,
so I was just curious. Um, it's funny too. The episode the episode before this was with a guy from New Jersey, and we were almost gonna name the episode "Bruce Springsteen is kind of a dick."
no way.
Yeah. So
I
if
don't
you
know
go,
his whole background.
so if you go back in the episode and you listen, there's like a whole section where we're basically just talking shit about Bruce Springsteen. Not
That's
it was because of a personal experience that a family member of his had with Bruce, but also like I don't know. He was from Jersey, so I had to ask him about Bruce, and
Oh,
like because
okay, yeah.
yeah, and the dude I was interviewing was from New Jersey, and he was like, I don't know, man. He's like, he made everyone think that you drive through New Jersey on a motorcycle and like all you see is like oil rigs and you got to get in like your muscle car and wear a jean jacket. He's like, that's not what it's like at all. Like, he's just like, he's like, not everything is born in the USA, you know? So it was pretty funny. But anyway, so fuck, marry, kill. I'm sure you remember this from school days.
Yeah, I know how to play this game.
So this is going to be, here's the deal though. I'm not going to give you anything. Okay. It's going to be you choosing the three things, and it can be an ingredient, a spice, a drink. It could be a tool in the kitchen. It could be anything you want, food related, and you got to fuck one, you got to kill one, you got to marry one.
Oh, no. They're all ingredients.
No, just anything. It could be a dish. It could be an ingredient. It could be a spice. Literally, like just think of something like, like fuck.
The killing one is like you don't like it at all.
No, the killing one is not only do you not like it, but you throwing it in the trash is you knowing that you're erasing it from existence forever, and you get so much joy out of that. That's the level that I'm talking about. I'm talking about deep-rooted hatred for something.
Okay. Well, fuck soup dumplings, marry hot pot, and kill eggplant.
Yo, all right. Hold up. All right, hold on. So, soup dumplings, I totally understand that. That's like fucking yowza daddy. You know what I mean?
The sex in your mouth.
Oh, and then your marry was hot pot? Fucking amazing answer. Haven't had that yet on the show. That's amazing.
I'm addicted to hot pot. It's
That's
bad.
fucking crazy. Have you ever like tried to do your own like setup, your own rig? Have you ever tried to do it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Make my own broth and just so easy. It's so delicious. It's not too bad for you depending on how much sodium's in your mouth.
Right, exactly. And also like yeah, depending on how much sodium is through.
You might die.
Yeah, you might die, but yeah, you'll be all right. It's like eating a pack of ramen and you look at the sodium, you're like, what the fuck?
You gotta balance it out with all the water.
Right, exactly. But the kill eggplant, that is the first time somebody said kill eggplant. I'm curious as to why.
I just don't. I've never liked it, even when I was super young, and I still don't like it. Even I've tried it so many different ways.
Have you salted the eggplant before you make like chicken parm?
Yeah, it doesn't really help. Yeah, I'd rather just have meat.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Eggplant is okay, but I will say this: a lot of people don't put the salt on it for like 30 minutes before they work with it, and if you do that, you've done this, so you know. But if you do that, people, you're gonna see these weird brown droplets that have been sucked out of the eggplant, and that is where all that bitterness comes from. So the reason that you salt the eggplant, let it sit for 30 minutes, is you're drawing out that fucking bitterness.
What about the sliminess?
I can't help you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's just eggplant.
I would have said okra, but I've had gumbo with okra, and it's not slime because it's in the gumbo. But yeah. So.
Right. So you know what's weird? The ingredient that I probably would have killed for most of my life, believe it or not, sweet peppers.
Really?
And it's so weird because I have been eating jalapenos straight since I was like 11. Like I love spicy peppers. But for some reason, cooked sweet peppers used to literally make me gag.
I kind of see that.
It's got just something there. When the oil mixes with it, it's like something happens.
It's not as. Do you like the raw? Will you like raw peppers?
I don't mind raw peppers. Yeah, it's got a little crunch, but I still would prefer. I don't know. I just
the cooked pepper. Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Yeah,
I totally do.
Anyway, this has been a fucking hoot and a half. Hopefully, you've had a decent time. So guys, before we close out, at Hope Eats NYC, I'm also going to tag Queens County Roots. I'm going to tag AKA. I'm going to put all the links on my link tree.
Thank you so much.
Please. Oh my God. Thank you. This has been amazing. And if this successfully works, this is the first video podcast of Spicy Memories. Now people can see that my setup includes a nice 5-foot tall cat tree for my cat. So that's great.
I was looking at that. I'm like, where's the cat?
Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, you see how she's fucking scratched it up like the shit on that pole? She's insane. Anyway, so thank you. I'm going to stop the recording, but we can hang out for a minute after. But thank you so much for being on. Do you have anything else you want to say? Plug yourself. Anything coming up you want people to know about?
No.
Nothing?
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Guys, check out at Hope Eats NY. Oh, Jesus, fuck. Let me do that again. Check out at Hope Eats NYC on Instagram. I will tag everything in the description. This is going to be available on Spotify, Google, Good Pods, where this is currently the #1 podcast for the top 100 food, not indie podcasts, all 100 food. I am above David Chang show. I am above the Sporkful, and I don't know how, and I don't know why, and I don't care. Okay, so this is gonna last for like 3 days. So I'm trying to enjoy it while I can. The only reason that Hope agreed was like, oh, you're #1? Okay, cool. Like she was like,
he's joking.
that would be great. Imagine. Oh God. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out and talking. This was a great fucking episode. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully, if this turned out into a video, you enjoyed it. If not, I'm going to cut this out anyway, so you won't matter. But tune in next episode. I'm sure I'll have somebody interesting, and have a great fucking night.